Hello and welcome into the latest live stream. My name is Kerry Holzman. Today, gosh, what is today? I don't even know anymore. The 9th? Is it the 9th already? The 9th of October, 2018. Yeah, it's already here. Let me get this camera just adjusted a little bit. There, that's a little better. I've got right here the Azulle Access 3 Stick PC. And hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? We're going to do a quick review on this. Azulle sent this to me, I think it was last week or right around then. And I reviewed the original Access and the Access 2, and now I'm reviewing the Access 3. All right, we're learning to count. Very good, boys and girls. Hello to Steve M. and Harry Baldwin, Alej Topej, William Burlagain, Jesse Kirk, Michael C., Thomas Carter, Ian Scott Johnston, Dave Murray, Magni Johansson. Did I say Thomas Carter? Scotty 1D. Hello, guys. Those are all my moderators there in blue. Keeping everything civil in the chat. Keeping the trolls at bay. That's what they do. And of course, they stand as examples of proper behavior. Apparently that needs to be taught now. I guess parents don't do that for their children anymore. Get off my lawn. It's been a crazy couple of days. Let me get some more light here. And I'm glad that you're joining me today. Did you miss me? We've got how many people? 196 people watching. Alan Kendall says, g'day from South Australia. G'day, mate. I got my very last Canadian Coca-Cola. I think I need to crack that open for this review. I'm feeling a bit parched. How was my weekend? Very short and rainy. Nick Poverman says, I'm going to be missing most of this. I have to leave in 6 minutes. Well, that's the beauty of YouTube. You can always watch it after it airs, 24/7 at your convenience. You don't have to watch live, although we'll miss your participation in the chat. John Wake has contributed £2. He says, hey, from Nottingham, UK. Very nice. Thank you, John. Cheers. All right, let's take a look at this bad boy. So these stick PCs, we talked about these in the past. It's very important to have proper expectations. We don't live in a world where everything is equal. So I feel the need to say this because I think some consumers, they shop based on price alone, thinking everything else is the same. Cheaper prices mean you get less. You get less warranty, or you get less quality, or you get less upgradability, or you get less service. You get less when you pay less. That is absolutely true, unless you're buying something perhaps lightly used that's not too old at a really good price, or something's temporarily on sale at a really good price. When people make a big deal out of Black Friday, the big shopping day here in the US after Thanksgiving, what I found to be true is all those deals are on all the discontinued models. Like big screen TVs, they're all last year's model TV. Of course they want to get rid of them at a discounted price. I see very few real deals. Personally, I don't shop on Black Friday, online or otherwise. I find deals throughout the year, and I don't have to struggle to fight for spending my money. I'm not going to fight to spend my money. That's weird. I want people to fight to give me their money. Wouldn't that be a great position in life to be in? People just beat each other up to give me their money. What a life that would be. By the way, if that happened, I'd make that illegal. All right, let's see what we have in here. We have a little thank you card, a $10 off coupon here for your next purchase at Azulle Tech. Use the code ENJOY10. Well, guess what, guys? All of you, hope I don't upset Azulle, all of you can use that code ENJOY10, because clearly this is mass printed and stuck in every single box. So if you wanted to buy one of these, use the code, okay? But you didn't get that from me. All right. Here's a quick guide. We don't need that, do we? Here is the compute stick. Right here. This is a full working Windows 10 computer right here. This will do everything your computer can do, albeit a bit slower, quieter, perhaps. And it's not going to be, you're not going to be adding any graphics card to this, so it's not a gaming machine. It's got Wi-Fi. Your computer may not even have Wi-Fi. And it's got Ethernet, both. You can use one or the other. This is an awful heavy thing to plug into the back of your TV, and your TV may not even be that far enough away from the wall. So there's a little, I bet you, I'm sure, I'm going to check, but there's probably a little extension cord, a little HDMI extension, so you can kind of hang it off the back and take that. You know, if you have something this big plugged in with this little tiny part and somebody were to accidentally knock it down, the full leverage of this would just break that HDMI port inside of your television. That would be bad. Let's be clear on that. There are 2 USB 3 ports, and it looks like a, some other type of, I'm guessing that's USB. This is your power button right here. Behind the antenna, we've got a micro SD card. There's no hard drive in here. This has solid state memory in it, not fast solid state memory, but basically like a memory card and a camera. And so if you want to expand the storage on this, you would just slap a micro SD in there. And what else? Here on the back, we've got, I believe this is a Kensington lock, so no one can steal it. And I believe that's a headphone jack, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to see without my glasses. I need my glasses. That's it. That's all of it. So how does it get power? That's what William Dawson wants to know in the chat room. Well, I only opened half the box. So let's see what's in the other half. What we have, oh, it's an HDMI extension, right? So right here, they include this for the reasons I just told you. It's got a little plastic cover on it. I never really understood why manufacturers put these little plastic covers over the HDMI ports. I've never seen one not work because of dust or debris built up in the connector. So it seems like they're preventing a problem that doesn't exist to begin with. But that's just an HDMI extension cable, female on one end, male on the other. You could even plug it into itself if you want. Make a nice little bracelet out of it. And on top of that, in the box, we have a plastic bag that contains the power adapter. Ah, that explains what that other USB port was. It's a power adapter. So the power adapter is going to plug in just like this. And that's it. That's the entire contents of the box. Now, these start at around $130. Now, when you consider a Windows 10 license is about $100, for $30 more than a license, you get the whole freaking computer. But I do have to tell you, or make you aware, that you may not be eligible for all of the Windows 10 updates in the future. This may not have enough power. At some point, when you go to do a Windows 10 update, it may say, sorry, you don't have enough power for this update. But that's okay. It's really intended, here's where I would use this. If you have a computer and you want to be able to stream media, if you have a television and you want to be able to stream Netflix to it, but you don't want to buy a Roku or a Fire Stick or anything like that, you want to use it for more than that, this is your solution. This would also be great for somebody who has vision problems and you want to use a big screen. This will turn your television into a computer, and at the same time, it's still a television. It's not like you can't not use it as a television. Heck, for all I know, if you have picture-in-picture, you could probably have both screens up at the same time if you wanted to. It seems possible. I don't know whatever happened to picture-in-picture. I don't see many new TVs with that anymore. This is not a fast computer. This is a computer you can use to surf the web, check your email, play solitaire, play Minesweeper, load up Kodi or XBMC or what's that other one called? Plex. If you're into that, you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't want to get involved in it. It's questionably, the legality of it's very questionable. I understand it's a loophole in the law, but it's, anyway. You'll spend a lot of time just trying to find the source material. You can also make your own material. You could turn on your video camera and film yourself and then play yourself back. That's what I do all day. Why haven't you made any videos? I've been watching my videos. I can't get enough of me. I'm kidding. It's called a joke. Maybe not a good joke, nonetheless. Quick shout out to Shane Schellenberger. Shane, as I mentioned, he encouraged me to go to the improv club. And I went to the improv club in the audience. I was a member of the audience, and it's a little tiny place. It only has like 25 seats. And Shane performed, and it was fantastic. I really enjoyed myself. And Shane said, you know, you really should try it. So the next day they had a 3-hour improvisation class, and I went. And it's not what I expected. And it's funny because I can talk to, how many? 426 people are watching me live. Do I look nervous? There were 15 people. 15 people. That's it. And I was sweating, and I was like in my head, and I was trying to be funny. And it was not what I thought. You know, I thought, I got this. I was out of my element. So they have another improv class later this month at another location, and I'm going to try that. It's good therapy for me. Life gets very serious. I tell you about the serious nature of computer repair, the liability and the accountability that I have, and to find some time to go and play seems very good for me. So heartfelt thanks to both Shane and his wife, Lori. They both perform improv together, and it was a joy to watch them, and I'm looking forward to doing that again. So anyway, back to this. Let's plug it in and get it hooked up. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to grab just a basic HDMI cable, and instead of plugging it directly into the back of my screen, which isn't going to help you very much, I'm going to plug it in to this cable. How am I going to do that? I need a female connector for this. Guess I didn't think this through, did I? Need a female. Do I have a female cable? Rats. Okay, that's all right. You know what I'm going to do? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be looking at it. I'm going to take the extension cable. I've never needed a female to male. I guess I don't have one. Anyway, so I'm going to take this and plug it in here, like so. Then I'm going to plug this into the back of the HDMI capture card. And I need to give it some juice. And then we'll flip over to that input, and we'll fire it up for the very first time. Yeah, I can't believe I don't have basically just an HDMI, like 10-foot extension. I've never needed one until this moment. So, you know, I got to get a new crystal ball. This one's not working. All right, so let's plug this in here to input number 2. I feel like I'm a doctor and I'm standing behind you right now. It's very awkward. Take a deep breath and hold it and release. Okay, very good. You're checking out. Everything's good. You're not dying yet. Okay, let's power this bad boy on. It's got a little red light, very subtle red light in the middle, which I would show you if I could. When I hit the power button, that red light just turned blue, and let's go switch to the secondary input. Now this is fanless. There it goes. Fanless means you can overheat it. So if we run Prime 95 on this, I can guarantee you it will overheat. Rest assured it will. It's not designed for that. It's never been turned on before. It's never been taken out of the box, apart when I took it out of the box the other day and just showed it to you. You're seeing everything 100% real. That's what I do on my channel. I think there's too much polish, too much editing in the world today. It gives people, people complain about models. They go, models aren't realistic. And to hold yourself up to that standard is preposterous, especially when they're photoshopped and they really don't even look like that to begin with. It's the same with YouTube videos and most stuff on almost everything on television. Almost everything is either scripted or polished or edited, and the producer decides how they're going to edit it to make somebody look like an enemy, an adversary, or a hero. It's all in the editing. It may not necessarily be a true reflection of what happened. All right, what does the screen say here? Continue in selected language. Okay, yes, English, very good. Oh, I probably need a keyboard and a mouse, don't I? This keyboard and mouse is for the streaming machine. So using one of the USB ports, it has two USB ports on it. I want to plug in this keyboard and mouse. I hope the range isn't going to be a problem. I've had this issue before. We'll see what happens here. Keyboard and mouse are not included, and they're far larger than the device itself. The device, because it's fanless, is completely silent. It is 0 dB. Okay, that's plugged in. Now let me step back over here. I gotta get a new crew member. This guy's slow. Me. Okay. Yes. There we go. Yeah, it's not at the point yet where you can just talk to it. Well, I suppose if you plugged in a microphone. I don't know what's happening right now. I gotta enlarge my screen. I think Cortana's talking to me. Yeah, Cortana was talking. I don't know if you guys can hear Cortana talking or not. I don't know how that port's configured. United States, yes. US keyboard. No secondary keyboard layout. It wants to connect to my network, so we'll go to my guest network and connect. Did you get that password? Did y'all see it? You can drive in front of my house and connect to my guest network? That's nothing creepy about that at all. It's like 4 cars parked up front of my house. I've never seen them before. They're just tick, 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 tick. All right. I have to say, one of the most frustrating things I've experienced is I am getting a ton of phone calls, all coming from a 201 New Jersey number, attempting to sell health insurance. And every time I block the number, another one comes in, and they're calling 4 to 5 times a day. And my intention is to answer one of these calls live and just try and waste as much of their time as possible. Clearly, they're violating the law. I wish I could just block New Jersey, because all the numbers are coming from New Jersey. I don't know why they won't change the area code. If you really wanted to trick me, nobody calls me from New Jersey, so it's pretty obvious if somebody's calling me from 201, that's nobody I know. Unfortunately, Murphy's Law says if somebody from New Jersey wanted to call me right now, I would assume they're a spammer and let it go right to voicemail. Okay, we're going to set up for personal use and click Next. Sign in with no, I want to choose an offline account. It's going to ask me again. I'm going to tell you again. And now it wants a username. So we're going to type in A-Z-U-L-E, Azulle. Wasn't that the enemy in Ghostbusters? Oh, just Azulle. Sorry. Okay. Next. Password, nothing. I'm going to say no to Cortana, but Cortana may be a good idea for this. If you wanted to, compare it to like an Amazon Fire Stick or something like that where you can talk to it, you could do that. This computer has enough processing power. And of course, processing power only gets stronger as time evolves, the product evolves. Hence why this is Azulle version 3. More powerful. If you go back in the reviews I've done in the past and saw the original Azulle review, you'll see this one's much more powerful. For about the same price, if not the same price. Okay, now we're into Windows. Now, I don't understand why somebody would want to run benchmarks on this. Can anybody in the chat room give me any good reason to run a benchmark? After all, this is not about performance. This is about convenience. Some of the most convenient cars, such as a bus, are not the fastest. Cortana can track you. Every business you do with a company tracks you. You better start getting used to it, because 10 years from now, you're going to long for the good old days of 2018, when they used to track you this much. Instead of tracking you that much, it'll probably be much, much bigger. Carrie, get Google Voice. The problem with getting Google Voice is I don't want to lose my phone number for my customers that need to reach out to me. I don't want to punish innocent people. Just for giggles, benchmarks on that thing are not going to be impressive. No, they're not going to be impressive. So what's the point? I would check to see if it can play video. Of course it can play video. That's its whole purpose. It's not like you need a whole lot to do that. Come on. Come on, guys. Come on. Baron says, because people think benchmarks are their life. Benchmarks are life. You say my camera's a little blurry, is it? Maybe it's me. Hold on, is autofocus on? Yeah, autofocus is turned on. Let me turn autofocus off. Hold on. Okay, I've got it pointed at my face now, and it's tracking wherever my face moves, the little target moves. It's a little freaky. My camera is watching me. Think about that. You talk about privacy concerns. I've never bought a camera that doesn't film me. It's creepy. I'm worried about my privacy. What should I do? Maybe not own a camera? That's sort of what goes through my mind when I hear some of you guys complaining about Windows is tracking me. Nobody cares what you're doing. They don't care about you. They track whatever information the computer's doing, not what you're doing. You just so happen to be telling the computer what to do. But trust me, they're tracking the computer and not you. If 6 people use the same computer, they don't know who's doing what. All right, gotta get me off of that. Peter Brooks says hello. Oh, he says good evening from Wales. So proper. What else would you expect from a Welshman? It might overheat if you tried benchmarking it. No, it's not going to overheat from benchmarking it. It would overheat from like if I ran Prime 95 on it for 10 minutes, it would absolutely overheat. I can guarantee you it's going to overheat. It's not designed for that. Benchmarking will get it hot, but as soon as the benchmark is done, assuming we do a normal benchmark that lasts a few minutes, it won't be long enough for it to overheat, or at least overheat to a point of disturbance. Obviously, it'll affect the benchmark, but yeah, I don't think so. I buy computers because I've never once had that conversation. Can you imagine? So what is it you want this computer to do? Oh, I need it to benchmark really well. Okay, but what are you going to use the computer for? Oh, to show off the benchmarks. Oh, so, but I mean, are you going to get any work done, or you play games? No. No work? No. You play games on it? No. So you want to build a computer so you can just test it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want it to really perform well in the tests. How much is that going to cost me? I've never had that conversation with a customer before. It's very interesting. The chip is a 2-watt package. Throttling will be a tough point to get to. That's what Miles Hanna says. Good run. Crystal disk info. Sure, yeah, why not? You know, it's not going to be fast storage. It's cheap storage. Where's my handy dandy trusty flash drive? Where did that go? It's not in my OCD place that I put it. I still have a cookie from Catherine. Catherine's cookie right here with nut paste. Why does that sound dirty? Where is my flash drive? This makes no sense. Did I leave it plugged into the machine back here? No. 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 That's weird. That's really weird. I am methodical about where I put stuff, so I don't have to do the thing you're seeing me do. Okay, well, that's fine. I have lots of other flash drives. Let me copy a couple utilities off to one, and then we can try and see what kind of numbers we get. Oh, decisions. Which flash drive shall it be? Let's use this ADATA flash drive. Let's put that here in this computer in my office. And let's go to the network drive. Because I'm on the guest network, I cannot access my server. Well, it's not a server, it's a network attached storage. We're going to call it a server anyway. And let me just go here to my utilities folder under PC testing software. Oh, it's not under PC testing software, it's under freeware. And under freeware, I can grab, let's see, we can grab CPU-Z, Crystal Disk Info, Crystal Disk Mark, portable. That's good. So we'll copy, right click and copy. We go to the ADATA flash drive, right click and paste. And then let me go back. There's no point in running the Heaven benchmark, you know. See any point in that? We can throw VLC on there just to play a couple videos. So if we put VLC on there, and then I could copy I guess one of my YouTube videos, violate my own copyright. That should be interesting for YouTube to send me a takedown notice to my own video. Come on, you know they'll do it. Let's see. No. What do I have? I know what I'll do. Video projects. That's a big file. Let's do that. Let's take that file right there. Let's copy that. Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm sure that the flash drive I'm looking for is probably in front of my face. Okay, so that's just going to take a minute to copy. So I'm going to let that happen, and I'm going to step out of here for a minute, and we'll run the Crystal Disk Mark. Do you guys have any specific questions about the device I can answer for you? Or anything you'd like to see me try on the device? And I'm going to just wait because there's a delay from when I speak to when you hear me. And during that time, I'm going to search around the floor and look to see where my flash drive went to. It's so disturbing. I've looked in the same place 3 times and it hasn't magically appeared. So I probably need to look somewhere else. Oh, I think my wife cleaned up. I see stuff has been moved here. Ah, somebody moved my cheese. Rats. Can you install Windows 7? It would be unwise. You'd probably have difficulty finding drivers. You will spend forever loading updates and probably run out of hard drive space before all the updates can be installed. Can it run Doom? Probably. You're talking about the original Doom? Yeah, Castle Wolfenstein and Doom probably be fine. What streaming software do I use? OBS. Can it run Crysis? Probably not. If it did, it would probably crawl Crysis and not run Crysis. Did I ship any computers yesterday? No, I did not. I've been involved in a number of things not related to YouTube that have been consuming every minute of my day, and there's nothing more frustrating than realizing the sun has gone down and I haven't gotten anything done. An update is required. Look at this. Okay. Oh, update OneDrive, like I care. That's fine. That's fine. We got nothing else going on. What is this doing? What do you want to OneDrive setup? No, I don't want to do that. You know what I will do? I'll go to Windows Update. There we go. That ought to take a while. Okay, well that's doing that. Let me go back to the chat. So you guys want to know what the specs are. I didn't say what the specs are, and I need my reading glasses. And I will read to you what the box says, because we can confirm it with CPU-Z and the freeware utilities. It's not like they're likely to lie. So I'll tell you what the box says. This is a, well here, I'll just show you. If you look at your upper right corner of your screen, all of these items. Oh, sorry, all of these items. These are your specs. So I'll read them to you in case that's too small. It has Windows 10 Pro. It is a quad-core Intel Gemini Lake N4100. It has 4 gigs of DDR4, what they call LP DDR4. I don't know what that is. It's got 32 gigabytes of storage. So basically it's 32 gigs of hard drive. It can do 4K at 60 frames per second resolution, and it has 2 USB 3.0 ports. The Access 3 is a mini PC that fits in the palm of your hand and lets you take desktop-like computing everywhere you go. Turn any TV, display, or projector into a fully functional computer for business or pleasure. Designed with fanless technology, the Access 3 opens up a universe of computer possibilities for your home, office, or anywhere you need it. And there you have, that's the box. That's what it says. Couldn't have said it better myself. And for just a little bit, actually, buying Windows 10 Pro is about $135, and the device sells for about $135. Think about that. Okay, reading glasses can be put away. And let's head back to answering your questions. Let's see what I've missed here. LP is low power RAM. Oh, I didn't know that. I've never heard it used that way before. I've never heard that expression. TDP of 6 watts. Yeah, that sounds right. What browser do I use? I like Chrome, and I cannot lie. Chromebox is better. Does the Chromebox plug into the TV, offer wireless and wired, and allow you to install Windows programs? Pretty sure it doesn't. I think you have to load Chrome applications. So let's say you need to have Peachtree on the go. I think you're kind of up a tree, aren't you? Not a peach tree, but a tree. But hey, listen, just because your needs are the same as everybody else's, absolutely, you should totally say that in the chat. Don't think of what anybody else could need it for. Don't think about how you could possibly ruin somebody's life by misleading them with false information. Just let everybody know what you need it for, and then imply that they don't need it for any other reasons other than what you do. Good job with that. Thank you. Thanks for participating in the chat. I'm sorry, was that sarcastic? I'm sorry, was the sorry sarcastic? Am I being sarcastic now? Ify and Davy says, nice shirt, Kerry. Thank you. You obviously have excellent taste, my man. Can you use it for a field remote server? I don't know what you mean by a field remote server. It certainly doesn't have the power of what somebody would define as a server. Kerry, are you getting work done? This is what I do. Yeah, I get paid for it, right? Weird. Nearly Sachant says, hello from Denmark. Oh, I spelled the video incorrectly. I'll fix it. I spelled it with 2 U's. That sounds like something I would do. Oh, I see it. So I got it right in the video description, not in the video title. Let me correct that. Thank you. Thank you for making sure you point out my mistakes in front of everybody in the world. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. It's all right. Comes with the territory. Would you wish somebody did that to you at work? Attention, attention, all employees. Bob has used the wrong pencil and has misspelled. Okay, everybody back to work now. No problem. It's all good. Is it safe to run this on your main network with all your other devices? Yes, the only reason I don't put it on my main network is I don't need you guys to see the layout of my network or my files and my folder names. It's really about controlling what I'm broadcasting to the world. And so by putting it on the guest network, it's not that I don't trust it on my network, it's that I don't trust some of you out there, maybe nobody watching live, but the video is going to be up for years. Somebody's up at 2 o'clock in the morning looking for some trouble to get into, and they go, oh, look at this file Kerry has, and they lead that into something else, and that leads to something else, and then before you know it, I'm standing in front of Congress testifying on behalf of Justice Kavanaugh. Nobody wants that. Nobody. I got other things to do. I mean, it'll run Apache for 30 clients, I don't know. Listen, it's designed for Windows 10. If you take something like a screwdriver and you decide, I think this will work as a chisel, and you start hammering into cement with it, it might work just fine. Or it could create a spark and burn the whole building down, or it could shatter and take out your eye. When you decide to use something in a way that it was not intended to be used, you have a very creative imagination. My advice to you would actually be to buy the device that's intended and designed by the engineers to function in the way that you intend for it to function. For example, if you wanted to run an Apache server, you should buy an Apache server device, something designed for that, or something that meets the requirements, at least the minimum requirements. So like an old used Dell computer or something, not a stick. I'm not even sure how one would go about replacing the operating system, let alone find drivers for the storage, for the sound, for the network, the Wi-Fi network. It would be like buying a $100 device and spending $10,000 in labor to make it work. My brain just can't find any logic in that. Some of you have a lot of time on your hands. Have they not made the new Windows stick short Windows 1809 and not 1803? 1809 came out on October 2nd. This device was mailed to me some point in late September. I received it, probably was mailed to me in mid-September. I received it in late September, and I've been sitting on it about two and a half weeks, I think. So no, the developers didn't have a magic portal to advance into the future, install an operating system that hadn't yet been released, and then package it and ship it to me so that by the time I had, I mean, come on, really? Really? Christoph Esch has contributed 10 euro. You are sarcastic, and that's why I am here. That little computer is great. I have a similar one. Thank you, Christoph. You get me. You get me. Thank you. The stream that I'm broadcasting is a lot of discussion of Windows 1809. We'll talk about that for a minute. This stream is being brought to you by Windows 1809, and despite what you may have heard in the media, none of my files were deleted. You guys were here. Oh wait, I didn't install it on the streamer live. I installed it on another machine that was new. But I did update the streaming computer after I went offline, and it just installed like any other update. I suspect, I'll tell you what's frustrating to me. When you've been around, here we go. When you've been around as long as I have, this is nothing new or shocking or surprising. This is normal. You have these people that are like, I won't install any updates until I've been out for 16 years. Okay, don't. I don't care. These are the same people like, should I get this processor or wait for the next one? I'm waiting for that 2080 Ti. So what is it? Do you want new or do you want to wait 16 years? Well, I just don't trust Microsoft updates. What is this, 1992? Get with it. These updates are so beta tested more than the entire install base of Windows 3.1. That's how many people beta test it. So if it gets through beta testing and there's a bug, it's gotta be because somebody has something so weird that it's causing a problem, and it is almost always caused by a third party. Either all these people that have this problem, that allegedly have this problem, missing data, have a third-party utility or antivirus that is not meeting the requirements of Microsoft. And they're such a minority that they were not part of the beta test. Out of the hundreds of thousands of people that beta tested this update, not a single one of them had this problem. So then they release it to the wild, and now there's a little group of very loud people who don't know how to make a backup that are whining that they're victims of a free update that they voluntarily installed because they wanted to be first, because it didn't happen automatically, not this soon. And they cry foul. So I think, here's my prediction, I think when this all gets analyzed, what we're gonna find is these people all have something in common that none of the beta testers had. Now, rumor has it that it only affects people who moved their My Documents from the default location. I find that hard to believe. I find it hard to believe that Microsoft, in their own testing, and with all the beta testers, that everybody kept their My Documents in the default place. But that's the rumor right now. I suspect it's more than that. I suspect that they have a piece of third-party software that's probably some kind of security software, but it could be something like CCleaner, which, by the way, also broke. CCleaner broke with this update of Windows 10. That's not Microsoft's fault. That's because CCleaner is not following the rules that Microsoft sets to the developers, and the developers don't have to get any approval. This isn't Apple. Apple, you have to get approval from Apple. So it's like a little communistic, little socialist society. This is freedom. And developers can do anything they damn well please, any way they want to do it. And if you, as the user, choose their product, and their product breaks because of an update from Microsoft, you are profoundly absent in what Microsoft is doing versus what the developer is doing. The only one who's playing by the rules is Microsoft, because they're the ones who make the rules. And Microsoft advises developers, these are the rules you need to follow. And if the developers don't follow those rules, Microsoft cannot stop them. But Microsoft is the first to take the blame. Now listen, I'm not a Microsoft shell. They do good things and they do bad things, all right? But I see this time and time again where bad drivers cause the Windows crash. Oh, that Windows ME was horrible. No, the failure of those third-party driver writers to make compatible drivers caused Windows ME to crash. Microsoft had no control over that. So Microsoft created Windows Hardware Quality Labs that said, if you don't send your drivers to us for testing, then we're going to warn users that if you install this and it wasn't passed through our test, you're taking full responsibility of what happens to your system. Because Microsoft just kept getting beat up and beat up and beat up over something they had no control of from third-party developers. And I suspect this is just more of the same. This happened in 2000, this happened in 98, and here we are 2018, and you guys act like it's never happened before. The outrage and the surprise, oh my God, it's never happened before, and this is why I don't update. No, this is why you make backups. You know, if you got infected with ransomware, forget the update. You're just clicking along and you get some ransomware, and your files are gone. Who's the fault? You. If your house gets burglarized and they steal your computer, your data's gone. Who didn't back it up? Whose fault is that? Yours. If your house catches fire and it burns to the ground, whose fault is it that you didn't have a backup of your data when you got lost in the fire? Yours. Well, Microsoft should have disclosed this potential. You should know this. You should know this by now. It's not 1995 again, and I'm like, hey guys, here's this thing called a computer. By the way, I don't know how we're having this conversation in 1995 since nobody had any broadband. There wasn't such a thing as broadband. So I guess we're just standing around on a street corner having this conversation, and I'm demonstrating what a computer is to you. This has been around far too long, for over 25 years now. If you don't know by now, if you haven't done your research, even if you never owned a computer before now, there's enough history recorded on the internet in evidence that is just common knowledge that the reaction of the public behind this alleged file deletion is unjustifiable. It's like, whoa, this is the first time anything like this has ever happened? So you don't get the update. So instead, because you're smarter than everybody else, you don't get the update. And so instead, you get the exploit. And the exploit doesn't require you to do anything. You didn't have to click on anything. It actually just went right in through your computer because your computer was turned on and connected to an always-on internet connection and infected you. And now you're unknowingly spreading that infection to everybody else who thinks like you. And all of us who got the update, we're immune to that infection. So you choose your path. And whichever way you choose, you're responsible for the outcome. There, I said it. Somebody needed to say it, and I've said it. By the way, I've installed 1809 several times without issue. Now granted, half of those installs were on brand new machines where there was no data to be lost, but on my personal workstation and on the streaming computer, 1809 was also installed. Microsoft has done the right thing and they have paused the update. They are not retracting it. I had somebody email me saying they were trying to uninstall it. It won't work. Why are you uninstalling it? Well, I read about all these problems. Are you having any problems? No. Then leave it alone. Sorry, I got a little loud. Jeez. What the hell is wrong with people? Oh my God. Ray Sudbury says, I've moved music, videos, docs, and downloads to different locations. I never had a problem. Yeah, I'm just going off rumors on the internet right now. That's why I don't think that's right. I really doubt it. So a burglary is my fault. Not having a backup. Wow. Talk about not paying attention. Can you read lips? If you don't have a backup of data that you think is important, listen, nobody else thinks your data is important but you. And if it's not important enough for you to back up, that's not my problem. I don't care. If it was mine and I cared about it, I'd have backed it up. So whether you were robbed, whether you got ransomware or a virus, or you accidentally deleted the file, or your hard drive died, or your computer was stolen, or you were burned down, or you were in a flood, or there was a natural disaster, I could go on for an hour over all the reasons why people lose their data. That's why we make backups of data that we individually decide is important to us personally. And if it's not important to you enough for you to back it up, then it's not important enough to me to care that you lost it, regardless of how you lost it. Am I clear? Class dismissed. You see, downloads are still installing. Got a cumulative update going on. This is not a fast computer. So again, for the price, be sure that you understand what you're getting so you won't be disappointed. In fact, quite the opposite. If you understand what this computer is and its price, you should be really impressed for what you're getting for the money. That's my opinion anyway. Oh, look. You know, one of these days, it'll happen. One of these days, I'm gonna respond to somebody like that, and they're gonna say, never thought of it that way, thank you. Instead, they attack back. Like, damn it, I'm ignorant. How dare you try to educate me? How stupid does that make you to think you can teach me anything? That really makes you the moron, doesn't it? And I'm just tired of that. I'm tired of it. There's so much of it. So that person's gone. The Carrie Rant Show. Look, guys, you need to accept responsibility. You can't blame Microsoft because you lost your data. If that was your data, if it was important to you, you'd have had backups. You can't not do updates because you're afraid the update's going to cause a problem. Because if you don't do the update, you're likely to have the problem that the update was released to address. You're not a victim except of your own decision-making process. This is not the way the business world works. The business world, which is what provides you the power, the electricity, the water that flows through your house, the sewage and sanitation systems, these processes operate to protect the business, to ensure that your power stays on, to ensure that water gets delivered to your house, to ensure that the grocery store remains open so you can buy food, so you can live. And yet the way they do things isn't good enough for you? You're smarter than them? Really? 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 Listen, if it's good enough for business, it's good enough for you. That's my opinion. I'm sticking with it. Businesses don't run without backups. Businesses, they can't afford it. There's too much at stake. When you take your data that seriously, you'll never be in this situation ever again. So some of us have to experience things, right? You can talk to somebody till they're blue in the face, but until they experience it, they fully don't comprehend the depth and the gravity of what you're telling them. And it's a waste of time to continue any conversation with those kind of people that have that mentality until they experience it. And if they're fortunate and lucky, and they just happen to be avoiding it, then they simply can't comprehend the nature of what you're speaking about. And therefore, you cannot have a logical, reasonable discussion with them about their risk. When, look, I have unprotected sex all the time. I've never gotten a disease. Okay, well, you keep doing that. Oh yeah, I meet complete strangers at the bar. We get plastered, sometimes 4 or 5 of us. We all go back to a place and been doing that for 20 years, never had a problem. Okay, okay. That's what it's like. I mean, you just can't have a reasonable discussion with people with that mentality. It's never happened to me. So obviously it's never going to. Okay. Raymond Brosius has contributed $20. Thank you, Raymond. That's very generous. Thanks a ton. Because of your videos, I just replaced my power supply and video card, and it all works. That rocks. That's great. You got wound up easily today. Yes, well, truth be told, the reason the stream is running late is I've been arguing with a car dealer about a problem, and they're requesting information that they already have. And when I called customer service and I wanted to know why, they said, because that's how it is. And I said, no, that's clearly you don't understand why. Otherwise, you'd be able to explain it. And that's okay. Just transfer me to somebody who can explain it. He said, I've already explained it and I'm ending this call. And I said, no, just transfer me to a supervisor. And he clicked and he hung up. So thank you, Hyundai customer service. I appreciate that. So if I'm a little easily wound up today, it's because the show must go on, and I've had it with people who refuse to think critically, who behave in a manner becoming of a robot and not that of a human being who exercises judgment and critical thinking. When people who think and behave like a robot are replaced with robots, and then they complain about how unfair it is, I have nothing more to say. Clearly, that's what you've been wanting and asking for, is to be replaced by a robot because you've been acting like one. So it's a lot cheaper, and the robot works a lot harder, doesn't take any sick days, and doesn't need any health care. Welcome the robots, everybody. Sex and releasing an update with an issue is not a perfect analogy. Well, then you should ask for a refund. Believe me, when people have an STD, and when people lose their data, from my perspective, the reaction is the same. That's, perfect analogy or not, the reaction from my experience is almost imperceptible. It seems identical. Louise May has contributed $5. It's okay, Carrie. He says, we love you. Get another Coke. Thank you, Louise. What do you do when you run out of onboard storage with this computer? It has a little micro SD memory card slot. You can just buy a micro SD card, push it in, and you've expanded your memory. Oh, does it want to restart? Thank you for that alert in the chat room. Who was that from? A Carrie Holzman badge holder. Well, you've earned your badge today. Good job. Where's my mouse? Why is my mouse not working? Hello? Okay, something's not right. Oh, I'm looking at a delayed feed. My bad. I got to look at the... There it is. Close all. Restart. I have to look at the live feed. I can't look at the YouTube feed. Otherwise, I'm very easily confused, as you just witnessed. Patrick Caruso says, Carrie needs a group hug. Yeah, I guess I do. Do I have some data that bears that out? Well, I did, but I lost it in the Windows update. You see what I did there? Never mind. $576 people are watching live. Welcome, everybody. Why don't you give us a shout in the chat room? Tell me where you're watching from. Where in the world are you? Artur Rissanen says he's in Finland. Very good. Is it advisable to turn off a computer overnight? Why? Watching from Southend in UK, Portsmouth, Virginia, Massachusetts, Northumberland, Lancashire. Lots of UK. Hello, UK. Ottawa, Canada. Another in the UK. Texas, New York City, Clarksburg, West Virginia, Melissa, Texas. Wow, UK. Poland. Juan Baltazar from Arizona. Go Arizona. Mazhar from Mumbai, India. We don't get a lot of people from India in here. Welcome. Bang Ho, Sweet Home, Alabama. Coral Springs, Florida. Denmark. Another Florida. Abington, Virginia. Newman, Georgia. Another in the UK. England is dark, cold, and windy. Sounds like heaven. The ice is in Michigan, my hometown, my home state. Ohio, Chicago, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh. Newcastle, Manchester. Irving joins us from France. Colorado, City of Bath, UK, New Jersey, Flint, Michigan. Ohio. Linda Hudson says she's in Rutland, Ohio. Austria, Dubai. Another New Jersey, Miami, Serbia, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Surprise, Arizona. Well, that's just right down the street from me. Well, a little further than that. Louisville, Kentucky. Jersey City, New Jersey. New Zealand. Patrick wants to know how the Vernors was. It's still sitting in the refrigerator. I have not opened it yet. Algonquin, Illinois. That is the reason I know Algonquin is at the time when I met Scott Mueller, the author of the Upgrading and Repairing PC books that I talked about. That's where he lived. So that's way up at the top of Illinois. Romania. Union City, California, Winnipeg, Manitoba, Croatia, Hampshire, the UK, Strasbourg, Pennsylvania, Charlottetown, Louisiana, Indiana, Savannah, Georgia, Scotland. Lovely. Plant City, Florida. Thomas Carter says he's watching from Carrie's kitchen window. I knew that was you. Denver, Colorado, watching from Cornwall in the UK. I think I got everybody. I think I got you. Another Finland viewer. Great. Greece. Oh, we got somebody in Greece. That's wonderful. Every time Carrie has a rant, we have a shot. Oh my, you're going to get drunk quick. St. Peter's Prep. I don't know what that is. Olaf. Is it Olath or Olathe? Kansas. Leesburg, Florida. Grand Rapids, Michigan. There we go. There's some stomping grounds. Meet Scott Mueller as well. He lived a block away from my house. Very cool. Altoona, Pennsylvania. Luxembourg. Canada. Netherlands. Norway. Look at that. We got somebody from Norway. Very cool. I'm just stalling. The view from your kitchen window is not much different from the camera. Well, Rich would know. I've told him a number of times, stop looking through my windows. It's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm walking around in my underpants and, Rich, stop it! That's not true. I'm just poking fun. Daryl says, I'm watching from the other window. You guys can wave at each other from across the house. Honestly, you couldn't get close to this house without the dogs just having a freak out. Get out the Glenfiddich. You know, I was doing some research because I said, well, little did I know I like Scotch. So what other Scotch might I like? And I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's called, I don't know, Morangi? I'm not sure. I haven't opened it yet, but they said this is better than Glenfiddich. And I'm like, well, I really like Glenfiddich. I don't know how this could be better. And because I'm not a seasoned Scotch drinker, they're like, this won't scare you away if you're new to Scotch. That's where you should start. It's better. I don't know. When I have a chance, I'll try it. I'll let you know. Andy W386 has contributed 10 pounds. He said, I once made a PC mistake quite a few years ago. Yeah, me too. It was many years ago. Sorry, let me continue. Installed an N version of Windows out of curiosity. And I had some issues, and I don't blame others for it. It was on me, and hey, I learned from it. Yeah. Paragon says, I'm watching from the Orkneys in Scotland. I fall asleep to your videos. Don't take it the wrong way. I love tech, and you actually have a calm voice. You're my tech head, Bob Ross. I hear that a lot. When I was at the improv class, there was a guy teaching, there was a student wearing a Bob Ross t-shirt, and I was like, how does this kid this young know who Bob Ross is? That was pretty cool. Glenn Morangi? Colin says Highland Park. I don't know. It's got to be smooth. It can't have a real strong bitterness or. I'm a wimp when it comes to alcohol, so it can't be overpowering or have a big burn. It's got to be mellow, smooth and mellow, easy drinking for a beginner, not a seasoned alcoholic. Not that you are. Okay, let's go back to Windows Update. See if there's any more updates to get on this bad boy, and then we'll throw those tests on it that you guys want to run. Oh yeah, here's updates. That was quick. Let's do another one. It's pronounced more anger. Is it really? It seems awfully appropriate. I don't know if it is or not, but I think that's what I'll call it from now on. Irving wants to know how he can get a copy of Dave Murray's calendar. So those of you who weren't here, one of my viewers in Scotland sent me a gift. And what I like especially is that this isn't a gift somebody just went on Amazon and clicked purchase and send it. This is something he made. He made this. Well, I mean, he didn't make the paper. He didn't make the camera, but he took pictures. He's I guess an amateur photographer. He enjoys taking pictures, and he I got to restart. Anyway, and he sent me this calendar that he had made based on his photography of pictures he had taken. So let me switch over here. So this is the calendar, and it's got Dave Murray, the same Dave Murray that you guys see right over there in the chat room. Sent me this. Look how big this calendar is, by the way. Like I don't know. I can show you some reference of how big this is. Here. This won't mean much to you guys outside of the U.S., but this is a tape measure, and this calendar measures basically 16.5 inches, which is. Oh, this doesn't have centimeters on it. Almost 2.5 feet. So almost half the size of me. Okay, that may be an exaggeration, but it's sizable. And these are pictures that Dave Murray has taken in Scotland. He took this photo. And it's a calendar. So you can write stuff in like, Beach Week and Devil's Triangle and all this other stuff you can write in here. And then 30 years later, present it as evidence of your innocence. Oh, sorry. There's another one. He took this picture. He likes to take pictures of reflections. That much I have ascertained. But they're gorgeous. They're well framed, well centered. I didn't even know Scotland had days where there were blue skies. That must have happened. That's a rock saying peace, man. 16.5 inches is 41.91 centimeters. Well, of course it is. Just in case you thought there wasn't any green or blues, there are. So some people, after I showed off my gift from Dave Murray, said, how can I get one of those calendars? Well, Dave is right there in the chat room, and he will be glad to, I think he will, sell you one for a little more than the cost to make it and ship it. How long do you think he sat there and waited for that train? Hey, can you guys take the train back? I missed the shot. Oh, another reflection. I'm teasing. It's a gorgeous picture. Oh, look it's reflecting. All right, what else? Hold on. Some of these aren't reflections. Oh, no, hold on. There's got to be one in here. Your commission is in the mail. Hey, there are no reflections here. Snow, road, he's got it all covered. Reflection? I had just got an error message that OBS has crashed. I haven't seen that ever happen before, but I've restarted the stream. Everybody should still be okay. We should all be here. Should all be good. Apparently, Dave Murray's Scotland calendar was so awe-inspiring, it got distracted. It distracted OBS. So anyway, yes, Dave Murray is in the chat room right now. And yeah, he'd be happy. I'm sure he would. He's an excellent photographer. Excellent. I'm not going to, he's got his phone number and his email address. I'm not going to hand that out, but you can talk to him. Let me go back to this machine and see what's going on over here. We restarted. Let's check for updates again until it says there's no more updates. Once again, if OBS crashed because of a Windows update, then that's a fault of OBS. I can't stress this enough. The beta testing on Windows updates is so thorough. It involves literally hundreds of thousands of people beta testing to find any little bug and report it. That if the problem still exists after it's passed that rigorous test, it's more than likely the fault of the third-party developer, not Microsoft. Now, don't get me wrong, I will blame Microsoft every chance I get when such blame is deserved. I don't work for them. I am not obligated to say nice things about them. I like to think I'm an honest and direct person, and I will hold the appropriate party responsible. But it seems like the popular thing all the cool kids are doing is blaming Microsoft for everything. You know, I got a flat tire the other day. Damn Microsoft. That's sort of what it feels like. Okay, I just plugged the flash drive into my streaming machine because I'm an idiot. I need to plug it into the stick PC. Give me a second here. Let's plug it in here. Okay. Here we go. What's that? Open that. Go to this. Crystal disk mark. Let's try it and see what it does. We're on the C drive. We'll run all tests. We'll run it right off the flash drive and see what she does. Okay, so that's going to take a little while. Oh, that's actually better than I thought it would be. That's basically hard disk drive speed right there. If anybody has any technical questions or wants to see the results of any reasonable tests run on the stick PC, now's your chance to let me know here in the chat. I'm also happy to answer whatever questions you have on technology to the best of my ability. What is my opinion of the Microsoft Edge browser? I prefer Google Chrome. So I just don't use Microsoft Edge except to download Google Chrome. But I don't care what somebody else, if I have customers that want to use Microsoft Edge or Firefox, I don't care. I guess that's the best way to explain it. It doesn't really matter to me what somebody else uses, so it doesn't really matter what I use. Because I use YouTube, and YouTube is owned by Google, and Google Chrome is owned by Google. I mean, it's in the name, Google Chrome. Those two things work really well together. If I was using some video service from Microsoft, I would probably use Microsoft's browser for enhanced usability in the web interface that they designed. As such, Google has designed YouTube in a way that it really works well within Chrome. Can you use your external temperature gauge and give us a visual reading of the surface temp of the Windows stick? Yes, I can't show you because it's behind the streaming computer, but I can say it out loud. New update fix is an issue where an incorrect timing calculation may prematurely delete user profiles on devices subject to the delete user profiles older than a specified number of day group policy. Yeah, but what group policy? Did that group policy have to be set by somebody, or was it set by that default out of the box? I suspect the user had to change something that ordinarily doesn't get changed, and that's why it got through beta testing through hundreds of thousands of beta testers without any problems at all. Carrie, have you used or would you use a 5¼ inch bay drawer for storing USB? Yes, I have a 5¼ inch bay drawer sitting in a box. I haven't installed it yet. I never thought to put USB drives in it though. Let me grab that little temperature gun. I got a thermal infrared temperature gun, and we'll see how hot that that PC stick is right now under normal use. This is what I would consider to be normal use. I mean, if you're having heavy hard drive activity or storage activity, we've installed updates, that's normal activity. We've restarted, that's normal activity. So the temperature should be a normal temp. Let's see, I've turned that on. Let me go back here and point it at the unit. 40.7, 40.8, 35.4, 40.9, 41 degrees Celsius, which is 105.9 degrees Fahrenheit. It's totally acceptable. If it was in 130 degree range, I would be concerned, because then you could burn yourself. I mean, well, 140 would be almost too hot to touch, so we're well away from that. That seems regular, normal to me. I don't know, it seems fine. There's your performance numbers on Crystal Disk Mark right there. Carrie, would you recommend putting user folders on another drive or partition than Windows? No, I think it doesn't matter. As long as you have backups, you can store it anywhere you want to store it. I'm not quite sure I'm being clear. When your house burns down or gets flooded or gets robbed or you get ransomware or a bad Windows update, that has absolutely nothing to do with where your data is stored. The only thing that guarantees if your data matters a lot to you, it would require a hell of a lot less effort to just simply back the data up, preferably somewhere off-site, like in the cloud, or take the backup drive, back up to a flash drive or back up to an external hard drive and then take it and bring it to work or take it to another building. You guys seem to only think one type of data loss is ever going to affect you. These people that have a RAID 1 configuration, they go, well, if my hard drive dies, I still have all the data on the other hard drive. Aren't I smart? And if your computer's stolen, and if a drunk driver crashes through your house right into the building where your computer is and smashes it to bits, or you get ransomware, or you get a virus, or you accidentally deleted the files, you just accidentally deleted it off both hard drives, didn't you? Yes, you did. So at what point do I have to start talking to people like they're small children? At what point are you going to grasp that having one copy is having basically no copies? You have an original. So you take an original and you make a copy of it if it's important, and you place that copy somewhere else so that if anything happens, you still have it. The one thing everybody who's ever lost data has in common with each other is they weren't expecting it. Now, how many times would you like me to repeat that? Carrie, I back up to a NAS. Well, again, if there's a fire, a flood, or a theft, they're going to steal your NAS. You have to get it out of the building. If you have ransomware, it's going to infect the NAS. I don't know, guys. Honestly, I just don't know anymore. I don't even want to talk about it. How many times do I have to repeat myself? Have I ever worked on a Mac? No. Have you looked under the Lazy Susan for your USB? Yep, nothing there. Good suggestion, though. That was good. What do you use for archival storage? For archival storage, I use the cloud. If we're talking about photos. If we're talking about the video files that I create here on YouTube, YouTube is the backup. I also have my own local NAS that I use to back up my files, which are of better quality than what YouTube has. But at least I'd have something if disaster struck. If a worst case scenario reared its ugly head, I'd still have YouTube as the source. Places like Shutterfly will store your photos for free. The posts that I've put on Facebook are always there for me to go back to, pictures and videos I've shared on Facebook. Documents that I create, OneDrive I don't use, but I do use Google Drive, and I've used that for some stuff. You got to get it out of the building. You have to get it out of the building. Shutterfly stores, I've got probably 100,000 photos on Shutterfly. Doesn't cost me anything. And I can use that to print calendars, I've shown you. I think you need to order like one thing a year from Shutterfly. And I do that anyway. I always make that calendar for my wife every year, and saves me the effort of having to upload the photos. I mean, nowadays it all happens automatically with your phones, right? It syncs it. Samsung's got their own synchronization cloud for your photos. Your Google Drive will do it for you automatically if you want to. You don't even have to think about it. So at least as far as photos go. Because the thing about photos is they're a moment frozen in time. You'll never be able to replicate that ever again. But you can't cry about your privacy and at the same time upload your photos to the cloud and then cry and whine about your privacy being stolen. It's weird, man. It's just weird. If you want to take control of it, if you're that paranoid, back your stuff up yourself, go get a safety deposit box at the bank with a key and a lock, and during banking hours you can retrieve it and update it and put it back. Louise Mayott says, I use Backblaze for $5 a month. It backs everything up and it does it from time to time in the background. Yeah, so does Carbonite and so does Mozy for $60 a year, which I guess is $5 a month. It's unlimited storage and it happens automatically. So you don't have to decide, what do I back up? How do I know what to back up? Well, what's important to you? My stuff. Well, then back up your stuff. Well, where is it? Wherever you put it. Well, where's that? Wherever you put it. Well, where did I put it? You tell me. Well, how do I know where it is? I don't know. How did you find it when you need it? I click here, then that's where it is. These are real conversations I have with people all the time. It's like, where's my socks? They're probably in your sock drawer. Well, which drawer is that? Whatever drawer you decided. Well, how do I know? Open each drawer until you find the one with the socks in it. Wow. Will somebody please kill me? Neil Parkinson says, do not rely on automation, do it yourselves. I agree, Neil. I absolutely agree. You still can rely on automation, but you need to check up on it. You need to babysit it. You need to verify it's doing what it's doing. It's okay to use it, but it's not okay to just set it and forget it, because when you need it, you might find out it's not all there. Yeah. Don't trust technology. What's the best cloud-based sock storage system? I'll try to think of something clever and nothing's happening. Carbonite's from $6 to $12.50 a month. I thought Carbonite was annual. I thought it was $60 a year. Has that changed? And Mosey? Oh, look, somebody's claimed they don't have a sense of humor. Here, I can fix that for you. Goodbye. Anybody else not have a sense of humor? Because I can fix that. Windsock. Actually, that's pretty good. Microsock. That's really good. You guys are funny. That's good. Windsock. I should have thought of that. Damn it. All right, let's see. What other test was I going to run on this? Let's see. Let's see. Let's go back to the drive. What if you only have one sock? I guess it's not a problem if you only have one foot. Why would you assume that would be a problem? See, people make assumptions all the time. Everybody's just like they are. Some people only have one foot. And having one sock is just as many as they need. All right, let's run CPU-Z. Let's verify what the specs of the system are. I'm sure they match the box. I don't think I'm being swindled. Intel Celeron, Gemini Lake. Is that what the box said? Quad-core Intel Gemini Lake, 4100. Is that a 4100? Doesn't say. Yeah, and 4100. Just like the box said. Okay, what else? Main board. Azulle. Version 0.0 on the BIOS. Yeah, that's fresh. Memory. Specs on the memory. Apparently, it shows it's got 4 memory sockets. That can't be right. And they're all empty. So apparently it has no memory at all. Just like me. Using built-in graphics built into the CPU. I'm sure this will be interesting. The term backup has its purpose right in the name, only to a technical person. A normal person would say make copies, make duplicates. If it's important, make duplicates. We don't need the word backup. Backup implies moving backwards, which you have to have an engineering type mind to convey that to somebody who's non-technical. When all you had to say was if it's important, make copies. We should be replacing these technical words with words that we already have in the lexicon in the English language. We don't need to be making up these words. I've been saying this for a long time. Duplicates, copies. If it's important, make copies of it. Carbonite is internal hard drive for the computer. Servers are $500. Well, yeah, but anybody who's running a server shouldn't be coming to me for advice. You're supposed to be a professional, and you should know what you're doing if you have a server and operate a server. Bottom line is, businesses run servers. There's no reason a home user should run a server. There's no reason anybody should be asking me to build a server. That's something an IT department is paid to do. They're paid to take responsibility and ownership of maintaining the server, backing the server up, and they need to follow the policies and procedures that are proper for the appropriate company, that meet the needs and budget and requirements and expectations of that specific company. And they shouldn't be watching YouTube videos to learn how to do it, or they should hire somebody who does. That's my opinion on servers. I'm not sure what this processor test is doing. It's taking so long, but I'm going to stop it. Close. Okay, so did I have anything else I wanted to test on this? Let's take a quick look here and see. What else do we have? Oh, VLC. Let's put VLC on here. I love VLC. Great piece of freeware. This is the 64-bit edition of the latest version of the Video LAN player. And I'll click install, click next, just click next. Let's get that through. This will just take a moment. Video LAN client, whatever. Whatever. VLC. They can tell me it stands for anything. Let's see. Okay, that's installed. Now, because the speed of the USB port, I'm going to copy. Oh yeah, you can send metadata. I don't care. I'm going to copy the video file locally, because obviously you would play the video file over the network. Well, you know, we'll play it off USB. I wouldn't play video files off USB, but it's probably going to be fine. So this is one of my videos that I did a while back. Let's see if it plays it smooth. It's not 4K or 60 frames. It's pretty normal YouTube stuff. Well, there's an inception for you. You're watching a video in a video. Frame rate looks good to me. Quality looks good. Let's double click it, go full screen. Of course I wear a t-shirt and pants under my robe. What do you think I am, some kind of weirdo? Okay, that works fine. And it, you know, this is really what it's intended to do. And whether you use Plex or XBMC or Kodi or VLC or whatever you want to use to play videos, hook it up to the TV, or just use it to surf the web and answer some emails, you know, that's great. That's what it's for. And if that meets a need of you or somebody you care about, you can save a lot of money rather than buying them some outrageous Alienware machine, which obviously would be overkill for that specific need. Now, before we wrap the review up, are there any other questions about the Azulle Access 3 that I can answer? Or anything you want to know about it, like some simple test I can perform? Again, it's not going to, don't be ridiculous. Come on. It's not going to shatter world records here. It's the cost of Windows 10 Pro. You get the whole computer for the cost of Windows 10 Pro retail price at Newegg or Amazon. You're getting a whole computer. That's not enough for you? Oh, you're difficult to please. Is that video in the library, and what is its title? Yeah, it's somewhere in there. There's like 550 files of videos in my library. Search for books. It's probably something about books under my channel. You look like Robin Williams in that dressing gown. You mean today? The way Robin Williams looks today? Or the way he used to look? I'm trying to figure out if that's a compliment. I'm kidding. What does crystal disk info show? That's an interesting question. Not that it really makes any difference at all, but just out of sheer curiosity. What does it show? Disk not found. There you go. So whatever they're using for a hard drive controller is not recognized by the latest version of Crystal Disk Info. There's really nothing that Crystal Disk Info can convey to you that would be useful. It's not replaceable. The internal drive, the internal storage chip is not replaceable. And any information you would glean from it would do you no good whatsoever. You know, like if it said it was failing. I mean, you'd always want copies of your data. That's important regardless. And yeah, that's interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a computer do that before. But it's a very specialized piece of hardware. Did I know Crystal Disk Market Info or in the Windows Store? I never use the Windows Store. My computer is not a smartphone. Them trying to use Windows like a smartphone is so weird to me because it's so difficult. It's so many clicks when I can just go to the website and grab it. But maybe it's just whatever you get used to. Okay, guys. Would I use a device like this for the TV, or what would you prefer? I would probably prefer more of an Android device if I was looking for something like this, me personally, because I don't want to worry about antivirus. So I would probably use an Android-like device for this myself. But if somebody needed a Windows-based computer to load software applications on, Android isn't going to cut it, Chromebook's not going to cut it. So in this, it really is a usage case scenario. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hand this unit off to Mitch when he gets back from Tokyo and let him use it in real world. This is a real customer, as if a real customer bought it and used it just like anybody else would do. And then he's going to report back to me on his impression of it. And we'll follow up the review to see what Mitch's experience is with it and whether or not Mitch would recommend it, or if he's going to give it back, or if he wants to keep it. So this is what I do differently than other YouTube channels. It's not just about reviewing something and moving on to the next thing. We want to see how it really performs in the real world from somebody who's going to rely on it and have to configure it and live with it. And then we're going to talk to them and see what they have to say. Reality, folks. That's what it's all about here. I would prefer a Nook. Yes, and I would prefer $1 million. Would you like roast beef or filet mignon? These things are not priced the same, so that is a preposterous statement. I would prefer a Maserati over a Hyundai, but I can only afford the Hyundai. Hyundai? If you can afford it, you go right for it. A Nook would probably be overkill for using a computer like this. It's far more powerful, or at least they make them far more powerful than the stick PC, and they're far more expensive. You are getting what you pay for. Microsoft releases fix for data deletion bug. Good. Promo code's not working. What? I can talk to Azulle about that. I'm sure they can give me a promo code. I'm sure they would love to sell you their product. I'm pretty sure. So if you guys want to hold off ordering until I can provide that to you, I'll ask them and I will include it in the video notes. I can't believe the promo code doesn't work. Did you type it in all caps? Did you type it exactly right? Intel's compute stick goes to a Core M5. And how much is Intel's compute stick? Is it more than $133? I mean, if we're going to make comparisons, let's make it fair. That's all I'm saying. I'm sure MIT has a compute stick that runs on i7 that's under research and development, and it probably costs somewhere around $100,000, in testing and labor to make it function. Is it fair to compare that? Let's be fair. Maurice B says, top-notch review, Carrie, just awesome, and thanks for doing it. Hey, thank you, Maurice. Thank you. I guess Dave Murray, is everybody starting to say goodbye? Good night, everybody. I guess we're all saying goodbye. Lurchicus says, it's a cool device, Carrie, thank you. Well, thanks for getting it, Lurchicus. It may not be for everybody. There's other devices that are better suited to other purposes, for sure. Ray says, it's UK bedtime. I didn't realize the whole UK went to bed at the same time. Well, that's interesting to me. I didn't know that. Lights out. Warden's coming. Magni Johansson's contributed 55 Norwegian krona. Great video. Almost forgot to donate. Well, thank you, Magni. I really appreciate that. Serge says it's quite late here in Europe. Had to order more calendars, Carrie. Thanks, mate. Well, thank you, Dave. I'm glad for you. I think it's a solid deal, man. You're not going to get rich off of it, and you're an awesome photographer. I'm sorry, I can't say that to a British or a UK person. Brilliant. You're a brilliant photographer. And it's awesome that you can share your passion with the world, and I'm happy to share that. And thank you for sharing it with me. I'm honored and I'm flattered. And obviously, I'm not just saying that to be nice. Clearly, you have a whole chat room that agrees with me, or at least a lot of people in the chat room. So, well done. Will I be streaming tomorrow? I have a doctor's appointment and a dentist appointment tomorrow. So I don't know, and I still would like to get that computer back there finished and shipped out to Oregon, which is going to take a little while. Maybe not. Definitely Thursday, for sure. Socks on or off when sleeping? I guess it depends how cold your house is. Are you going to repost this video? I don't repost videos. YouTube's process when you go live is that it's recording me while I'm live on YouTube servers rather than on my own equipment. And when it's done, then their equipment, along with like 60 other hours uploaded every minute from other content creators, is processed by YouTube servers, depending on how loaded the servers are, to whatever refinements or reductions that YouTube makes in the algorithms of the video to reduce the size and keep the quality as good as they can get it. And when that's done, it varies. Sometimes YouTube's very busy and other times it's not. Then the video goes public when the processing is done. I don't have any control over that, but when YouTube releases it, YouTube releases it, just like all my other videos. Yeah. Sorry, this coupon is not applicable to selected products I tried to order. I think it's only for the Azulle Access 3. Were you trying to order something else? Where's that coupon code? Here's a little something. Visit azulletech.com and use the promo. No, it doesn't say it's for anything specific. It says $10 off your next purchase. Enjoy 10, all capitals, no spaces. I'll ask Azulle about it. I'm sure that they'll provide me a working coupon code. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Sorry that you're having that difficulty, and I'm sure I'm nowhere near as sorry as Azulle is right now. You're a good computer building teacher. It certainly made me a better builder. Thank you. Thank you, Serge. Paul Howe is contributed £5. Great review, Carrie. Thanks. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for your support. Does anyone remember the size of the exhaust fan of the 200R? It's 140 millimeter. It should be pretty easy to Google that. It hasn't changed. It's midnight in Germany. Wow. Christoph Esch says it's late here. Well, he's in Germany. My fan in my 200R is not 120, it's 140. Isn't it? Pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was 140. You know, the difference between 120 and 140 is very small. It's now I might be wrong. Hold on. Maybe it's 120. Let me take a quick look. Okay, is this a 120 or a 140? Ah, okay, I see what it is. 120. My bad, it's 120. 140 is huge. When I first was working on cases with fans, they were all 80. So 120 looks big to me because for many, many years, I dealt with 80s. And 80s look like, you know, like this. 120s look like 140s to me because a 140 is just a little bit bigger. So it is 120. And the side panels on the 200R will take 120s or 140s. The back only takes a 120, and the front only takes a 120. So, yeah, my apologies. Thank you for the correction. You would think a 120 and a 140. I don't know. To me, they're very big fans. 120s and 140s are big when you're used to working with 80s all the time. Now 80s look like a toy to me. Love a live show. Thomas Carter has contributed £2. He says, another great stream as always. Thank you, Thomas. Carrie, after the 1809 update, I'm blue screening during gaming. That's a very vague statement to make because you've told me nothing about your hardware, nothing about your operating system, other than it's 1809, nothing about your drivers or what video card you're using, nothing about the game you're playing, nothing about the settings of the game you're playing. You can go to a site called techguy.org, techguy, G-U-Y.org, and they will walk you through asking a series of questions that they will need to know and have answered before they can offer you any information. It would also help to see a picture of the blue screen because it contains vital information that can lead to the result. And you could do a lot of the research yourself by taking a picture of the blue screen, reading what the error says, Googling that combined with the name of the game that you're playing, and see what other people are suffering that same problem. Chances are you're not the first one to have whatever the problem is, and it may not be related to 1809 at all. So that's what I would do if I was you. Have I found another case that's as good as the 200R for the price? Not yet, no. I haven't really had time to look very much, but no. Am I going to do any more pre-recorded videos on repair and other tips? Of course. Why would I not be? You guys really need to learn patience, man. My channel is never, I never want it to be predictable. The live shows, as long as I have a lot of topical things to do, I'm going to do them live. When I have standard things to do, then that's pre-recorded. Things like interviews are pre-recorded. The Subaru videos are always pre-recorded. The video that I shot with my dad, which has been a year now, is pre-recorded. All that needs to be edited. But just producing the same content over and over and over again is weird. It's weird to me you guys want to watch me make the same video time and again. But yeah, it'll always be varying, whether I'm talking about my Life 101 series, cooking, but it just takes time because I have to triage and prioritize things based on how important and how topical it is. You know, for me to talk about the Windows 1803 update when 1809 is out, because I just got around to it, doesn't work in this industry. It'd be mocked and made fun of. So I try to do what is pertinent immediately, and then what can wait will wait until the opportunity is available for me to sit down and do editing. I'm afraid you guys are so accustomed to editing that you really fail to understand or comprehend the real work that's involved. And it's my goal to try and make my YouTube channel as real as possible, but not to the point of predictability. So there'll always be other videos that are edited for numerous reasons, peppered in, but that's not going to be the staple. The staple will continue to be live videos showing my mistakes and my misunderstandings, because that's what it is to be a human being, and to set realistic expectations upon my viewers about what they can expect if they decide to build a computer for the first time or clone a hard drive for the first time. And you know, it's not important that you make mistakes. It's important that you pick yourself up and move on. And when videos are edited, and everything you see basically is edited, it's just not reality. Life is not edited. Wouldn't life be great? Wouldn't it be great if you could edit your life? Let's just cut out all the bad parts. Let's just keep in the good stuff, and your life will be about 12 minutes long. Yeah, wouldn't that be great? We're going to just edit your life, your entire life and all of your life experiences down to 12 minutes. Sound good? James says, I love the shirt, Carrie. Thank you, James. Hope you find your USB stick. It's got to be here somewhere. Have any news about the PC builds for the Kids at Hope yet? I have to do the Kids at Hope interview. I have to edit that, speaking of editing. And so until that video is edited and published, that's when the donations will start, because it's all talked about in that video. Given my work schedule right now, that may not actually happen until after the first of the year. I just don't know right now. We'll just have to see how things go. Remember, I don't have any employees, so when customers call, I have to do the work. And when videos need to be filmed, I have to do the filming. I have to do all of it myself. It takes me longer to get things done. On the other hand, I can control the quality of the work that way. And because I'm the one they're going to call if the quality of the work fails, that takes me away from more work. So that's why there's these delays. But it's not been dismissed or ignored or anything like that. It's just, when you've got paying customers, those paying customers have to come first. That's just basic business. And I've got paying customers waiting right now. And so the Kids at Hope is a passion project. Bullying isn't going away anytime soon. So there's not this urgency to get it done right away. I'm not going to stop anything from happening. I'm not going to change the world with a video. I'd like to, but realistically, that's unlikely. But what I can do is I can impact a paying customer and show them good customer service and a quality build and make their wait as short as possible. And as long as I've got to do that, that's number one priority for me. But thank you for asking about it. I am looking forward to releasing that video when it's ready. It's very important to me. Any guest appearances planned? I'll be giving a presentation, I think, November 15th. When was the last time I used the USB stick? Probably Friday, Thursday or Friday. Can you plug this in on a plasma TV? Of course. Anything that's got an HDMI port, it'll fit in. That's what it's for. Just like a DVD player or an Xbox or a PlayStation, whatever those will plug into, this will plug into. Computer monitor, big screen TV, plasma, DLP. If it's got an HDMI port, it'll work. I did not go to my 35th reunion because I was bullied in high school. Well, I've never been to a reunion. Nobody would even know who I was. I was invisible. And I went to 3 high schools because of the problems at one and the problems at the other and the problem, well, technically I went to 3. I was only at one high school for a day. Yeah. So San Marcos High School and Peoria High School were the 2 main high schools I attended. And I can assure you, nobody there would know who I was if I went to a reunion. I had no friends. Well, maybe I had one friend. And I could just call him on the phone if we talked still. Michael says, thank you for the screwdriver, Mike and Mary Kate. Oh, very cool. Glad you guys got it. Now, build or fix or upgrade your computer with it. Did you check the drawer behind the counter to see if it fell in there? You know what? If the flash drive fell into a box that went into a trash, it's a $20 flash drive with freeware on it. It's not the end of the world. I like it. I like it a lot. I just go on Amazon and buy another one. It'll be at my door tomorrow. It's not a big deal. In fact, I probably have 2 or 3 spares that are empty. It's not a big deal. It's just inconvenient. Will you be at Sunflower Resort? Yeah, I think that's where I am on November 15th, this Sunflower Resort. I think it's a Thursday at 9:30 in the morning. I will be there to answer questions and do what I do. I think that's the schedule. I'm pretty sure. If November 15th is a Thursday, then that's the day I'll be at Sunflower. Well, on the bright side, you now have 513 friends. Ah, thank you. This is true. You know, they always tell people whether you're gay, they say it gets better, or you're being bullied, it gets better. It does. It does get better. And these things in life, they're all temporary. Life itself is temporary. And these things that you move through in life, these challenges, maybe a girlfriend breaks up with you and breaks your heart and you want to die. It's temporary. I know it feels like the end of the world, but it isn't. It's just what it feels like. You can reach into a box and you can feel something and you can guess what it is, but you may not be right. And so to base your future on what's happening now is it would make sense if we didn't have the communication systems that we have now. Nobody's alone anymore. As long as you have the internet, you're never alone. And you can be anybody you want to be on the internet. Nobody really knows who you are. So if you want to be a cool guy and you're not a cool guy, you can pretend to be one online. If you want to be a jerk and you're really a pussycat in person, but you want to be a jerk, you can portray a jerk. If you want to pretend you're a girl, you can. Nothing stops you. But ultimately, it's really about what you get back from it. So if you're into fooling people and you get off on that, I'm not sure that's the right course of action for you. But if you have trouble in social situations and you're teased and bullied because of it, you can find help online. And the best way to find help is to find others like you. And when you realize that you're not alone and you're not as weird as people make you out to be, when you realize everybody is weird, life, the pressure kind of goes away. But people can tell you that all day long. That doesn't mean that you're going to believe it. You have to go look for it. And oftentimes we find what we're looking for. If you're looking for excuses, you'll find nothing but excuses. If you're looking to see if the earth is flat, you will find people that say the earth is flat. If that's what you're looking for. So if you're looking to self-fulfill your own prophecy of being a loser, you can guide your searches to confirm that. But if you're more objective and you look at it from from another more clinical third party, get outside of yourself, sort of self-awareness, and you're really looking to better yourself, well, you can find that too. And you can read stories from other people who've been through whatever it is you're going through. No matter what it is, you're not the first one to go through it, and you're not the last one to go through it. And there are very kind and generous people online that will help you, and they maybe have left a story, and maybe that story may be all you need to hear. But you have to do it. You can't wait for somebody to bring it to you, or you're going to lead a very long, disappointing life. Take responsibility like you would fix a computer, and fix yourself. If you think you need to be fixed, do what you need to do to correct it. And I'll put this out there. I spent a long time trying to figure out what was wrong with me when I was much, much younger. And eventually, after much searching and reading a lot of books, remember, there was no internet. What I eventually concluded to was that what was wrong with me, I want you to follow me on this, there was something wrong with me. And it was that everybody else convinced me there was something wrong with me. Did you get that? Once I realized that the problem I had was that I believed I had a problem, there was a moment of profound epiphany where everything got better. In that logic in my brain, nobody could do this. Nobody could have handed that to me. Nobody could have done it for me. It was a long, many, many years of searching and searching and searching to find what I was looking for. I had on me the whole time. The problem I had was that I thought I had a problem. Did you get it? And everybody in my world surrounding me convinced me of that. And I gave them permission. I gave them my consent. I didn't realize I was doing that. Who are they to tell me that I have a problem? And what exactly is that problem? That I don't act like other people? That I don't talk? Why is that a problem? It sounds like you have a problem with me. That's not my problem. Do you understand? I often ask people that. I don't like the way you did that. Well, did I break it? No. I don't like that you blow leaf blowers. You blow computers out with leaf blowers. Okay. So it doesn't cause any, is there a problem with the computer? No. So you're the one with the problem, right? It's not me, it's not the leaf blower, it's not the computer, it's you. So why don't you work on that? A little rude? Maybe. But I think it's direct, and I'm cutting right through cutting right to the quick, not wasting any time. And if you can't handle that, maybe that's another problem you should work on. I mean, really, why are you placing your problems on me? So there I was trying to fix a problem I didn't have. I'm different. And if I wasn't different, I'd be like everybody else. And if I was like everybody else, what difference would it make if I was here or not? Embrace who you are. Be nice to other people. Treat others the way you want to be treated. And if anybody does less than you, treats you less disrespectfully, ignore them. They don't matter. If they have nothing to say that is kind or supportive, then nothing they say matters. Do you understand? People who help you, people who are kind to you, make time for those people. And the people that want to insult you, those people have a problem, and it's not your job to fix it, and it's not your responsibility to endure it. There's no reason you have to endure that. Just walk away and don't initiate contact and don't respond. Responding often fuels it. Even though instinctively you want to say something back, you can say a lot more by saying nothing. And the sooner you cut them out of your life, it's like cutting weights off of a balloon. You'll start to go up a lot faster. Don't voluntarily consent to letting people hold you down. Stop it. It's your life. It's nobody else's. You're lucky to be alive. And you're only going to be here for a little tiny period of time. When you're on your deathbed and you have an hour left to live, 1 hour left to live, do you want to spend it in line buying an iPhone? Or paying for groceries? Of course not. Why is that 1 hour at the end of your life more valuable to you than the hour you have right now you spent watching this video? All time is precious. For you to recognize it all the way at the end is too late. Recognize it now and make the most. Be the best you can be. And yeah, rah, rah, go you. All right, guys. Looking at the chat. Rich Robin says November 15th is on Thursday. All right, well then that's the date. You would make a good Templar Knight. I don't know what that is. I guess I'll take it as a compliment. Have I had a chance to sort the Amazon UK affiliate link? No, I haven't, but I did find the time to fix. I do believe the techvets.com site is entirely fixed now. So you can contact Mike or myself with the links and email there at techvets.com. All the archives work like they're supposed to. The donate button works like it's supposed to. And a video that I make that's unlisted here on YouTube plays when you make a donation through the TechVets website, where I thank you personally for the donation. And I think all that's now wrapped up in a nice little bow, and it's all nice and pretty and works, and I can move on to other things. And that was tough for me to find the time to do, but I had to manually code the email stuff in, but it was super easy. I can't believe how easy you guys have it. I couldn't believe it. I've never worked with WordPress before. I'm used to doing everything by hand. I type in all my HTML codes by hand. So it's been a long time. And it's amazing how WordPress has simplified this whole process of making a really super nice, nicer than I can make in HTML, in Notepad. Like I could do it in Notepad, but it's just tedious. That is so easy. If you guys have wanted to create your website, WordPress has made it so easy. It's a lot of fun to create. It really is. Oh, there goes Lyle. Carrie, did you ever go to therapy? I tried to go to therapy. It never worked out for me. I found that these people that, they sit there and go, and how do you feel about that? They like to ask you a lot of questions and they don't like to tell you anything, and I'm looking for answers. Well, how does that make you feel? What difference does it make how it makes me feel? Tell me what I'm supposed to do. Well, what do you want to do? Well, this is a waste of time. I hate therapists, hate them. Because to me, they act like know-it-alls who are non-committal to give you any approach. Well, maybe you could try. No, 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 no. I need to know how to fix this. I want documentation that tells me step by step how to fix this problem. They don't have that information. They never will have that information. And they are full of themselves to think for a minute that they have enough knowledge and experience of the human life to tell anybody else how to live their life. What, have you done this before? Have you been through life before? No. And in fact, if you're under 70 years old and you're going to be a therapist, I don't want to hear from you. I want to speak to somebody who's lived a life, been through it, and can look back on it and then tell me. Now, even though times have changed, it hasn't changed that much. In fact, people are still behaving the same way today that they behaved 3,000 years ago. So, yeah, I'm not dealing with therapists because I have found in every single case, they have no business doing what they're doing. They are way out of their league. Yeah, and ironically, I am a licensed counselor, but I would never counsel anybody because I think you got to be a little full of yourself to tell somebody how to fix their life. Best I can do is motivate you to want to fix your life. The best I can do, I think the best any of us I can do, is remind you that you're not alone and that only you can fix this. And I can't motivate you to fix it. And so when I went to therapy, I was looking for answers and they couldn't provide any, and so it was a complete waste of time. It seemed to me like if you were writing a book about me, I mean, that's what a therapist had. They had enough information they could write a book about me. That didn't do anything to help me. So, no. But listen, if therapy helps you, or religion, if you have a minister or a priest, you go, look, whatever works for you is fine by me. Just that doesn't work for me personally, and that doesn't work for my personality. Again, when I talk to people who tell me how to do what I do, but they've never done it, it's insulting and disrespectful. Go to a psychologist rather than a psychiatrist. I've seen both. A psychiatrist can write you prescriptions for drugs, which I thought would help. They made everything worse. Looking for an answer in a pill doesn't work for me. Therapy is asking questions so you find a response that suits you. Well, I can ask myself questions. I don't need a therapist to ask me questions. I can ask myself questions all day. It doesn't cost me $150 an hour. I went there for help. I didn't go there to be, interrogated. Even if a person is 70, doesn't mean what worked for them will work for you. This is true, but at least it means that they have some experience to reflect back on. You understand? Versus somebody who only has their imagination. So if somebody has removed an appendix once before, and somebody never has removed an appendix ever before, who do you want to remove your appendix? If it's an emergency and you're going to die if your appendix doesn't get removed, do you want the guy who's done it before successfully but only once, or do you want the guy who's never done it but in his head he thinks he knows how to get it done? Which one do you pick? Your life is on the line. Who do you choose? Every day, without an instant of thought, I will take the guy who's done it before successfully than the guy who's never done it but thinks he knows how. I'm not interested in people who think they know how. If you've done nothing, don't tell me how to do anything. Is that clear? What's a good cheap motherboard to support my Intel Core i5-8700K? Oh, I don't know, Colin. You know what I would do? I would go on Newegg or Amazon, and I would, modify the search down to, socket 300 series. You don't necessarily need a 370. Or if you want 370, and then decide, if it needs to have built-in video or how many RAM sockets you need to have, or if it's going to fit your heatsink, and then sort it by price. And then look at the reviews. That's what I would do. There's nothing off the top of my head I can recommend. That's what I would do if I was in that position. Nick says, my mom is 85 and still a therapist. That's great. Again, I have much greater respect for somebody who has fewer days ahead of them than they have behind them to advise me on what to expect going forward into the future. And even though the culture is slightly changed, it's mostly the same human behavior over and over and over again. And I think it's a question of whether or not you take somebody literally or you get the gist of what they're telling you. And I believe when an 85-year-old tells you what they went through when they were 25, if you don't take it literally, but you understand the gist of it, it still applies to you 100% today. But yes, if you're the kind of person that can't do that, if your brain doesn't work that way and you have to have every I dotted or every T crossed or you can't read the word, you're never going to find your answer through therapy or a therapist. But I do believe that in a person with life experience, a lot of it would be better giving you advice on life than somebody who doesn't. However, that's just me. And you do whatever works for you, because that's all that matters. And if seeing a psychologist or psychiatrist or a priest or a minister or a therapist is helping you, keep doing it. Christoph says, creating videos is a hell of a lot of work. I just started my first edit. I wish everybody who complained about my videos would make one. Make one and send me the link. And then I can complain about it and see how you like it. They don't do that for some reason. They complain a lot, having never made a video themselves. And then say, just because I didn't make a video doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, yes it does. Yes, that's exactly what it means. Carrie, where did you buy the power screwdriver that you use? Amazon. It's an EY 7410. Carrie, are you hyped for the new i9 CPUs? No. No, I don't care. Was I hyped when the new i7s came out? Was I hyped when the Threadripper? I didn't care. There's always a new chip coming out. New chips have been coming out for the last, I don't know, 30 years, 40 years, 30 years. Consistently, all the time. And they're not even much different these days. Like when you went from an 8086 to a 286, there was a big difference. From 286 to 386, pretty big difference. From 486 to a Pentium was a pretty big difference. Nowadays, the difference isn't really there. It's kind of the same. Storage, I'm kind of excited about speedy storage, like NVMe storage, PCI Express data transfer rates, DDR5. I want to see more of that, better Wi-Fi standards, faster, better range, more security. It's all more of the same. Another day, just like yesterday, just like the day before. I thought this was a review on the Azulle. We kind of went through that already. You can rewind the video to get back to the review. I was just taking some questions before I wrapped up the video here. Isn't the link to the screwdriver in the video notes? I thought it was. Am I happy with the Ryzen CPUs? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't work any differently than Intel. It doesn't do anything any different. If I put a Ryzen CPU and an equivalent Intel CPU in boxes and put you in front of them and I asked you to tell me which is which without running any diagnostic software or reading any software, just use the computer and tell me which one you believe is which, you would not be able to tell me. It's not possible. Did any customer ask you to do a mini ITX case build? No. I wanted to buy the non-electric screwdriver that you use, but I can't get it in New Zealand that I know of, or on Amazon. So the regular mechanical screwdriver is made by Jensen, and you can just Google the make and model. That's what I would do. I don't think they've made this model in some time. I've had this since the early 90s. And it's a 945014, and it's made by a company called Jensen. The name's kind of worn down. Jensen. It's a pretty standard screwdriver. It's just, you want about a 6-inch stem, magnetized with removable bits, and preferably a storage cap. It doesn't have to be made by Jensen. Lots of people make these. So just find something equivalent to New Zealand. It doesn't have to be this exact. You don't have to be so literal. The idea is that you have enough length on the shaft to be able to get through where you need to on the motherboard to get around heat sinks. And barring that, you can buy extensions. So if this bit is too short, buy a longer bit. That's all. Adam Sleeth has contributed 20 Australian dollars. Adam, thank you for your contribution. With new SSD drives, what is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is on SATA, if you're talking about SATA. All the SATA drives you buy now pretty much max out SATA at around 560 megabytes a second. It's never going any faster than that. PCI Express times 4, you're looking at about 32 gigabits maximum throughput. We haven't hit that yet, but we're starting to. We're starting to hit the maximum throughput on that with modern NVMe drives, especially like the Samsung 970 Pro. They're expensive. And I have to tell you, I don't see a whole lot of difference between going 560 megabytes a second to 3,800 megabytes a second. When it comes to boot time and loading time, everything just loads super fast. If you're used to using a mechanical drive, what a world of difference a simple SSD makes. They're fast. You get to a point of diminishing returns, right? So if you went from a mechanical hard drive to an SSD and your boot time went from 40 seconds down to 12 seconds, that's a pretty big improvement in performance. When you go from 12 seconds down to 9 seconds, by doubling the price and for NVMe, you save 3 seconds. It's diminishing returns. And I'm talking strictly on boot time. It really depends on how you use your computer, but I think most people aren't going to notice a difference, really, between SSD and NVMe SSD, but they will always 100% see a difference between a mechanical drive and a solid-state drive, even a slow one by SSD standards. And today, you can buy 500 gig SSD drives. They're now under $80 when they're on sale. $500. I'm sorry, 500 gigabytes for $80, under $80 SSD, maxing out at 560 megabytes a second. It's crazy cheap, great deals. I think Newegg's got an Intel 2.5-inch SSD, 500 gig, on sale today for under $80. And that's the norm right now. If Kerry was in Europe, I would like him to build a computer for me. Well, send me a plane ticket and put me up in a hotel and have your parts ready, and I'll come over with my camera and we'll film it and we'll broadcast it, and then I'll come back home. Sure, why not? What is your take on tape drives? They're slow and unreliable and a complete waste of time. People would use tape when they had so much data to back up, it was expensive to back it up any other way. Somewhere around 60+% of tape drives fail or have a data issue in the tape, just the very way it works. They're noisy, they're slow, and we used them back in the day because it was cost effective, but today, I don't know anybody that uses tape today. It's like, who buys music on cassettes anymore? Dogs are excited. Stephen Barber, quiet. Stephen Barber says there's a Silicon Power 512 gigabyte SSD for $67. Okay. If I was buying now, I'd get a 2 terabyte SSD. You're still looking between about $700 to $800 for a, or at least it can't be less than $600. It's really expensive for a 2 terabyte SSD. see. I think that was probably Amazon. Yeah, that was Amazon. Okay. That's good. It was Rich looking in my window. LTO standard is alive and well in archival applications, 22 terabyte per tape, very expensive. None of the customers that I work with utilize tape. So there may be some enterprise situations that still use tape, but nothing I'm aware of uses tape today. Could there be a reason why the prices are going down? Is there something on the horizon that's going to be better? There's always something on the horizon that's going to be better. Always. And when that comes out, there'll be something on the horizon better than that. And then when that comes out, you know where I'm going with this, right? But the SATA interface isn't going anywhere. The SATA speeds are saturated to their maximum ability. So if you can buy the drive cheaper and get that performance, why wouldn't you? The point of diminishing returns seemed to have been lost on you. So what I'm trying to convey here is if you're using a mechanical drive, this is a great time to upgrade to SSD. Don't worry about what's better than that. It's so much better than what you have. And if you've got SSD now, what I've already said was the faster SSDs don't really seem to make much difference at all. So why bother? So what difference does it make if something better is coming out? What's good enough for you should be all that matters. In my opinion, of course. What are your honest thoughts about the new Windows 10 update? I've installed it personally on 4 machines without any issues, just like any other Windows update. It is the latest and most secure version of Windows with the most features. It's offered for free for anybody who already has Windows 10. And I feel the same way about it I felt about the previous update before that, and the one before that, and the one before that. You should have it. You should have your data backed up. You should be asking me what's my opinion on you not having your data backed up and blaming other people for the loss of your data. I have a problem with that. I literally just did that. I got a 512 gig SSD, $67 to finally run games. There you go. There you go. Dell offers a line of tape drives. Well, of course they do. Of course they do. Okay. We're going to talk again about servers. If what you're asking me is one human being asking another human being about a computer you have in your house or your small business, I'm happy to provide you the solution or an answer or my opinion from my experience. If you want to talk about industrial complex data backup technologies and utilizations, this is not the place for that. That's all handled by an IT department. It has to be approved by management. It has to undergo and surpass certain policies, procedures, budgets, and timelines. And so what they use, I'm not in that world. I don't do that for a living. I have never done that. So if somebody asks me a question and they say, for example, and this is what people on the internet do all the time, and they say, what do you think of crutches? Well, I don't really like crutches. You know, they've got the device now where you can put your leg in the little scooter and get around a lot quicker. It's a lot more convenient, easier. So yeah, crutches are like old school. Nobody uses those anymore. I'm saying that as like a vague reference. And then you go, well, I got a friend who just got crutches. It's almost like you initiated a question to start a fight with me, Or if I make a generalization, then you have to say, well, I know a guy, or there's this exception. I'm not interested in the exceptions. I'm talking in general because I don't know you. So in general, nobody uses tape backup. So when I say nobody, I'm referring to nobody in my world. And my world includes residential customers and small and medium-sized businesses. But apparently, we live in a world right now where people are so quick to demonize somebody and try and challenge them and point them out to be wrong. It's as if you are standing above and saying, I'm better than you because I have found a flaw in your logic. You didn't find a flaw in my logic. You're failing to operate as a human being. You're acting like a computer. And if you want to talk to a computer and correct a computer in that manner, that would be appropriate. But as a human being, you should understand context. And you should be able to exercise judgment and understand the person you're asking and what that person's experience is in is going to relay the information to you from experience. Because I don't work in these large infrastructure corporations and these vertical markets where certain things may take place that just don't take place in my world, it's just weird to me that somebody wants to pick a fight or somebody wants to prove how smart they are, and they initiate that by setting me up. And I don't appreciate it. I don't think it's a nice thing to do to another person. I'm here to offer my experience, and I offer it for free. And I think the world of you. I think you're not a bad person. But when you come at me like that, and it's so uncalled for and unjustified, I struggle to understand what's going through your mind and why you think that's appropriate. Irving T's contributed €5. Great streaming, Carrie, as always. Thank you. Thank you, Irving. Your support and contribution are always appreciated. Thank you. I worked briefly at Charles Schwab, and they used these big optical discs. They were about this big to do data backups. They had like a jukebox. It would reach out and it would grab the disc. I've never seen it before, and I've never seen it since. And I was like, oh, what did I just get myself into? And I wasn't there, as a sole employee. I was contracted through an agency, and they were supposed to train me on how to do all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, this is like way over what I do. I did it for a little while, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. I didn't like it. Same thing, I spent a couple days in a hospital doing the IT. And every time I had to walk down the hall and there was somebody walking down like a patient, I was worried they had something contagious. Every time I had to touch something, I was worried about who touched it before me. And I was like, this isn't for me. And I didn't, so Charles Schwab, I didn't stay very long. And at the hospital, I didn't stay very long. It's just not what it's not what I'm good at, right? I mean, what I want to do in my career, what I've always wanted to do, was take what I know and build on it. I don't want to throw away what I know and start over again. So if I had started out in the hospital and worked my way up, then I would still want to be in the medical area with my expertise in that field. If I started out at Charles Schwab and I was used to doing these kind of mechanics, but to be self-employed, that just doesn't play out in that scenario because there's so much liability, responsibility, and so much work. One person couldn't do it all. And then, they have network architects. That's somebody's job. Full-time job, network architect. Did you know that job existed? That's one person's job at a very large corporation to design the infrastructure and maintain it and implement it and upgrade it constantly, full-time, 40 hours a week. That's all they do. Doesn't really pertain much to home users or home use. It's very isolated to the needs of that specific company. So those kind of questions are best directed to those companies and their policies and their procedures, not to somebody like me. What do I know about that? But I haven't seen tape drives. People used to use them, that's why I mention it. The customers used to use tape drives. iOmega made tape drives. I had an accountant using a tape drive just 10 years ago. And when we checked the tapes that were just automated, there was nothing on them. It was whirring and making a lot of noise, but when we actually looked at what was being backed up, it wasn't their data. It was some data, but it wasn't the data. And they didn't know that. And so I immediately retired that said, we're not doing the tape drive. I retired that immediately. We're done with this. And we're going to go to a different system. But that's the way, because hard drives are so expensive, the large data sets were backed up on tape. I haven't heard anybody use tape since then, honestly, over 10 years. It's not about you should have backed your data up. It's about the downtime of the business where you have to reload your data from backup because of a Microsoft bug. Again, the reason you have backups is to protect your data. Why you lose the data is sort of irrelevant. In other words, if an employee was pissed off and in revenge deleted the contents of the server, if your building caught fire, if your sprinkler system went off and damaged all the electronic equipment, if you were burglarized, these things, this is life. And so the amount of time you spend whinging about the amount of time it's going to take you to recover is ridiculous. Businesses traditionally don't roll out updates willy-nilly. Businesses, a real business, rolls it out in a secluded test system to verify everything works accordingly, whether that's a software update to an application, a virus update, a Windows update. And when the IT department, that's part of their job, verifies that the application or the update performs without any negative consequences, they then schedule the rollout company-wide at that point. So this excuse that your business is down because of it is silly. I have never met anybody who lost data from a Windows update. I've read about it on the internet, but I've read a lot of stuff on the internet that I've never seen in real life. Are you telling me you personally lost data over the Windows update? Or are you just jumping on the bandwagon because it's the cool thing to do and you're, look at me, I'm a victim. Pay some attention to me. Feel sorry for me because I got the same update as 10 million other people and I had to restore my data like some tiny little fraction percentage of that. At some point, you're going to have to restore your data. And it may not be because of a Windows update. There are countless reasons why people lose their data. Doesn't matter why you lost it. That's life. What matters is how you pick yourself up and get yourself back in the game. And you should be grateful that you have a backup that you can restore from. And well, it's annoying. It's a lot different than going bankrupt and losing your business. I would rather be annoyed than lose my business. I mean, I don't know how you can compare those two things. I really don't. If somebody loses their foot because they're diabetic and they feel sorry for themselves that they've lost their foot, then you obviously have no gratitude that you're still alive. Thank God all you did is lose your foot. You know, you're still here. And if that's what it took to stay alive, I'd say it was worth it, wouldn't you? Andrew says hello from New York City. Hi, Andrew. Thanks for joining us today. There's something I find really offensive about people who think they're defending other people like other people can't defend themselves. So when somebody says, well, it's not right that people lost data and they have to spend time recovering it, that's none of your business. It doesn't impact you. If you're not one of the people that lost data, then shut your mouth. It's kind of bold, right? But they don't need you speaking. Nobody asked you to speak for them. And who do you think you are? Honestly, this really shouldn't be an issue for a business or a home user, for people who take responsibility for their actions. It doesn't change that it sucks. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, isn't it great? It's not great. It's not good at all. But nobody ever should allow themselves, should voluntarily consent to trusting their data that it's going to be there tomorrow. Because how do you know you're going to be here tomorrow? I mean, you woke up today and you're here, but what guarantee that you have you're going to wake up tomorrow? You probably will, and I hope you do. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll go to sleep tonight and I won't wake up. You never know. There's no guarantee about life. It is what it is, and we deal with these things the best we can. I've said this before and I will say it again. You deal the best you can with the cards you've been dealt, and there have been countless poker games that have been won with nothing more than a pair of twos. I want you to think about that. Countless poker games have been won with nothing more than a pair of twos. It's all about skill, and it's about doing the best with what you have. If you think other people's jobs is to maintain and protect your data, you are going to be a victim for the rest of your life. I don't feel sorry for you at all. I don't. I despise people like that. You seriously need to stand up and be counted and be responsible. If it's important to you, it's only important to you. Nobody else cares. If you don't back it up, nobody else will. And when something happens, and it will happen, doesn't matter what it is, your focus now is on the Windows update because that's what everybody's talking about. A couple months ago, everybody was talking about ransomware. And before that, we talked about the blaster worm. We talked about the supposed, exploit in the Intel CPUs and AMD CPUs, the meltdown and Spectre. And before that, we talked about, oh my God, it just never ends. It never, ever ends. And it's always different. It's always different. We talk about all these IBM Death Star hard drives that fail, all these Seagate 3 terabyte drives that fail, and all the data. It's always something. It's a virus. It's an update. It's a failed device. It's a theft. It's a fire. It's a collision. It's an employee seeking revenge. It's an inside job. Your imagination can go wild. There's a million ways you can lose your data. A million ways to lose your data. No exaggeration. You may accidentally delete it yourself. If you don't make backups, if you don't make copies, you have only yourself to blame. And you're angry, you should be angry at yourself. Not at Microsoft, not at the virus writers, not at the hard drive manufacturer. You should be mad at yourself. Only you can fix that. I can't fix that. Nobody else can fix that. And if it doesn't matter enough to you, it doesn't matter enough to anybody else. Guarantee that. You should turn your guest room into a production studio. If I did that, I'd be right here on the camera the whole time because my guest room is that small. And then I would have to work with my hands like right here. And then I'd say, see this? And you'd only be able to see a piece of it at a time. I'd have to move it back and forth. No. How big of a house do you think I have? I did a house with a basement, and I can have an entire basement. That would be a great studio. It really would. Homes in Arizona generally don't have basements. Art Awesome has contributed $5. Thanks for continuing to feed my addiction, Carrie. I'm glad to be an enabler. Thanks for the contribution and support. I do appreciate it. When is my birthday? In June. I just had it, so I'm not ready for another one yet. Dave says, people will complain because the world is too hot, it's too cold, it's too flat, it's too round. Agreed. Agreed. David says, I'm having surgery. Well, I hope it's nothing serious. Extreme close-up. Are you using the new microphone set now? Yes, I mean, I haven't switched back. This is the Sennheiser mic that I'm using, and I'm very, very happy with it. I saw that they have a rechargeable battery pack that you can use instead of 2 AA batteries, and then you can take the units and set them into a charger, but it's about $200 for that. And quite frankly, just buying a set of AA rechargeable batteries is doing the trick just fine. What I liked about the Sony wireless microphone is it told me how many hours it was in use. So every time I placed new batteries in it, I reset the clock. So when the batteries got to about 7 or 8 hours, I knew there wasn't much life left in them. They were pretty close to empty. The Sennheiser doesn't seem to offer that. I just have a gauge. And because I make videos of the length that I do, I don't know how many hours to get out of a battery pack. So every night the batteries get recharged, even if they have enough charge to last the next day for the next stream. I just don't know, and I don't trust it. And the problem is, I may talk and talk and talk and talk and talk before I realize nobody can hear me. So I always just put the batteries on the charger and restart it. Am I a Gemini? No. I would be a Cancer, if you believe in that nonsense. CB DeCat says, I'm also addicted to your videos, also your live videos, and however it is in the hours later over here, that doesn't matter to me. I like your videos very much. You don't have to watch live. You know, it's the same video that'll be available for you to watch when it's more convenient. So it's great to have you in the chat, and I'm happy and glad you're joining us, staying up late to join us in chat. But of course, you can watch the video anytime that's more convenient after it airs, just like all the other videos. But thank you. It was very kind of you to say. Is your computer a Corsair? The computer case, they're $200. Yeah. Am I banned? Well, how did you type that if you were banned? That's weird. Torch says, I'm looking forward to another scammer video. Hope we can waste another scammer's time soon. Those are fun. Those are fun. I just don't have time right now. Paying customers are waiting. Azulle really wanted me to get this review done, so I prioritized them. They were kind enough to send me the unit, and so I made time today to just take care of that. with laptop batteries, is it okay to keep the laptop plugged in all the time, or does that cause the battery to be overcharged? No, there's no such thing as overcharging a modern battery. They have technology to do that, to maintain the battery life for you. All batteries fail, whether you use them or you don't. You know, if you put a car battery in a car, park the car in the garage, take the car out in a year and try and start it, it's not going to start. You could probably then charge the battery and it'll probably work fine. After another year, regardless if you use the car every day or you leave it back in the garage, the battery will probably have to be replaced. Here in Arizona anyway. Batteries all fail. Whether you buy a brand new battery and never use it, it won't work after a few years. It just, regardless. Most people who plug their laptops in all the time don't use the battery anyway. So whether the battery exists or doesn't, whether it's holding a charge or doesn't hold a charge, very rarely is an issue because they always keep it plugged in. So that's what I found when dealing with customers. When the battery starts to reduce the amount of time it holds a charge, you then have a choice of replacing the battery or replacing the laptop. By the time the battery goes naturally, again, regardless of how you've used it, it's time probably to think about buying a new laptop, because by then it'll be 3 or 4 years. That's my opinion. And of course, if the battery doesn't matter to you because you keep it plugged in and the laptop's still meeting your needs, leave it be. It's funny when people ask some of these questions, if you were to take your hand, say, for the next year, I am not going to use this hand. Okay? I'm just going to put it in a sling, even though nothing's wrong with it. I just don't need it. I'm going to save it so it'll be less wear and tear. If I don't use it, it should last longer, right? No. It's called atrophy. Atrophy happens when you don't use something, and it applies in technology as it applies in cars, and it applies to the human body. In a year, when you go, my fresh hand, it's time I take it out and start using it now. It's had a year off and it should be strong. No, it doesn't get stronger from not using it. It's avoiding any cuts and bruises and scrapes because I've kept it protected for a year. Look at it, it's like brand new. Isn't it great? My forearm and my hand. And then, hey, I'm gonna take it out of the sling, and now I'm gonna use it to pick up this mouse. What's going on? I'm gonna pick up this mouse. Okay, I'm gonna make a fist. Ow, ow. I don't understand, I didn't use it. I kept it I kept the plastic around it. Why isn't it working? I didn't even use it. Yeah. You didn't. That's why it doesn't work. So I want you to think about that. You might laugh and say that's silly, but it applies. When you park a car, a brand new car in a garage, you don't drive it, it's still going to have leaks. The rubber on the tires is going to dry and crack. The seals are going to dry and crack. It's going to sprout leaks. Things that should be lubricated aren't lubricated anymore. And when you go to start that car, it's probably going to have problems. Well, I drive my car all the time and I have problems with it all the time. Yes, and you still might. Yes. Yes, this is true. That's what preventive maintenance is for. And so when you perform preventive maintenance, you can avoid the chaos and the unexpected. You can't avoid it entirely, but you can put the odds more in your favor by just doing basic things to ensure, double check things, inspect things. That's kind of depressing. And that's all this is going to end. And even if it just ends for you, as far as you're concerned, the whole earth might as well have blown up. Because when you're gone, it's the same effect as far as you're concerned. So make the most out of the day. Do your best. Try to avoid chaos. I mean, my opinion, try to avoid stress and chaos where applicable. Some things are out of your control, and deal with them the best you can deal with them, and take responsibility for your actions and your decisions. And make the best. Make the best out of what you can. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop being a victim. Fight back. Fight back. You have every right to be here. We should be back online right now. I know we had a little crash there with OBS again. That wasn't a crash on my side. That was a connection issue to YouTube's servers. Jazz says, I still play tennis like I'm 19. Yeah, I mean, honestly, why shouldn't you? Really? Carrie, do you like DaVinci Resolve software? Never used it. It seems like pretty basic stuff to me. What I know of it, like if I was just starting out and I didn't know what I was doing, I'd probably start with that. I don't think I'd stay with it very long. But then I don't know that much about it. It just seemed to be marketed towards people who don't know better. That's the gist I get from it. Gio says, I'm going to try and attend the Sunflower Resort show. You may not be allowed in. You may have to be a member of the community before they'll let you in. So you may have to locate me and sort of become my guest so I can let you in. And if you'd like to, I don't mind, but just be aware of that potential situation. Any particular new builds you're looking forward to doing? Yeah, there's a couple coming up here, but I don't want to say much about them. I got to get the ones I started finished before I worry about the next one. But the parts should be arriving for the next one sometime this week, and I hope to get started on it very soon, and I can't start it until I finish. There's at least 4 here that are in the midst of production, and I have to get them done. Is Malwarebytes still a good thing to use? I think so, yeah. Lockheed Martin still uses tape backups? Sure. Yeah, I can imagine very, very large corporations with extreme backup needs. I could see it. That's not to say they couldn't do better, but yeah, I could see it. When you're on that scale, you know, of these huge corporations, there's a lot of bureaucracy. Where there's bureaucracy, there's probably tape backups. Maybe that's the best solution for a bureaucracy. I don't know. Not my wheelhouse. My mother lives in Sunflower Resort. I could be her guest. Right on. Then you'll have no problem, Geo Sam. Yeah, no problem. Come on in. Be sure you introduce yourself to me, and be good to meet you face to face. Is CCleaner safe to use now, or does it still have bugs in it? You'll have to ask CCleaner. I don't know. Don't work for them. Nor do I recommend the product on Windows 10. It's redundant. If you're running Windows 7, CCleaner runs fine, and the bug doesn't apply to Windows 7. Installed a 970 Evo without a magnetized driver yesterday. Half an hour later, LOLOL. Yeah, that's an exercise in frustration, isn't it? I think the book I read on Elon Musk and what they did about SpaceX was very eye-opening to what Lockheed Martin and other large governmental agencies do, how they're slow and how they spend a ton of money to do the most basic thing and have to hire contractors and have meetings and approvals, and it easily adds 10 times to the cost and 10 times the amount of time it takes to get it done. It's very eye-opening. Same with car manufacturers, by the way. They don't even make cars anymore. They order these parts and they order those parts, and this person makes those parts, and they just put them all together and sell you the car. So almost anybody can be a car manufacturer these days. Just outsource everything, engineer the design on AutoCAD, and crash test it with one car, and then use that data to create hundreds of thousands of other crash scenarios to improve the safety rating of the car without actually crashing them. It's all stuff Tesla's really done. Very impressive. I was still, I'm reading Jeff Bezos's book there on Amazon, and I didn't realize he was one of the earliest investors in Google, the search engine. And he made a lot of money off of that. Nobody talks about it. But yes, he met with Sergey and Larry Page and said, "This is a brilliant idea, I want in on it." And they said, "Well, we've already closed financing that's closed." He said, "I don't care if it's closed, I want in on it. Make it happen." And they did. And yeah, I don't know how much money he made or what he did with the stocks, but potentially he made a ton of money on that. It's one thing you'll learn about these guys like Elon and Steve Jobs and Jeff Bezos. People like to demonize them, make them out to be horrible people. But they take what they do very seriously. This is what I'm gathering. I've obviously never met these guys, but just reading from these biographies. When they hire employees, they want you to be their number one priority. Nothing else matters. Don't be sitting at home playing video games. Be here working. Don't be at home with your wife or your kids. No, be here working. If you don't have that kind of dedication, get out. We don't want you here. And for the people who did that, they're very wealthy today. Very, very wealthy today. Many of the people went on to other companies. Countless other companies broke off from ex-employees of Amazon, got involved with other pre-existing companies and started their own companies. And it's almost like it just branches out in so many different directions. And if you're somebody who thinks, I went to work 8 to 5 and I want a check, that's not the right place for you to go. You were not going to fit in there. And if you think that's horrible, that's fine. Don't work there. Nobody's forced to work there. So whether or not you see that as a demon or you see that as somebody taking advantage, I thought it was really interesting that there was somebody that said, look, I don't have any place for my dog. I'm never home. He said, that's fine. Bring your dog to work. So they did. So they had this Welsh Corgi named Rufus, and they would take it to work. And when Amazon moved buildings, Jeff Bezos actually went out of his way to write Rufus into the lease so that Rufus would be allowed into the building, right? So Jeff is saying, you're taking care of me, I'm going to take care of you. Make sure that dog can stay here. Amazon has a building named after the dog who long since passed away. And one of the Amazon buildings is named Rufus. That's the kind of guy Jeff Bezos is. So you can choose to look at him either way you want to look at him. I think that was a gracious, kind thing to do. And he wasn't obligated. And, you know, it's like, fine, if you have to take care of this dog at home, is that your excuse for coming home? Then bring the dog here. We'll make it so you can bring the dog here. It's pretty cool. Tomahawk Assault has contributed $10. Thank you for the Tomahawk Assault. It's a weird thing to think. Thank you for the contribution. Gary, my volume seems lower. Well, according to OBS, the volume hasn't budged. I think you can raise your volume. I can't raise it for you. Tucker Geek 2 says, thank you for the live stream. Going through some health problems. These shows help me get my mind off the troubles. Very good. Very good. Because keeping your mind on the troubles probably isn't productive. There's an old expression that life, I'm going to get a little cliche on you, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you voluntarily choose to react to it. Did you miss the review? Yes, you can rewind the video. Just like any other video, you just hit the rewind button. Carrie, do you set your browser to clear temp files on exit? Well, if I did that, what would be the point in having temp files? It didn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just set your temp file to 0 and just don't allow it? Is that even an option in a browser? I don't know. Used to be. You used to be able to go in and designate how much hard drive space. You used to be able to do that in Internet Explorer. Microsoft always did it to like 3% of your hard drive space, and it became a real problem that we had to fix as techs. When hard drives got to be big, 3% was a lot of space for temp files. No, the whole point of a temp file is to reload the website faster. Although with broadband, as fast as it is these days, it almost seems unnecessary. No, I don't. I do regular preventive maintenance, and during that maintenance, a couple times a year, I empty the temp files. Would going to Newegg be the best place to look for affordable prices? Nobody's in business selling computer parts at an extreme profit. They wouldn't stay in business. So you buy wherever you want to buy, keeping in mind that not all customer service is the same, not all inventory is the same, and a lot of sellers, including Newegg, aren't necessarily selling all the parts. They have third-party sellers, and you got to pay attention, like Amazon. Are you ordering it from Newegg, or is it coming from a third party? Because the shipping and customer experience can vary greatly. Often shopping for the lowest price nets you longer wait times and shipping and poorer customer service in my experience. So do what's right by you. I don't believe people are just mindlessly spending money at Newegg and Amazon over solely convenience. Amazon's all about customer service. Nobody has customer service like Amazon. And they have great prices, but Amazon's prices can be beat. But that doesn't mean you should buy from there. Because if you're not getting the customer service and you need it, and you save $3, was it worth it? That's up to you. Are you a gambling man? I'm not. Not with my business. I do not gamble with my business. Mozilla Firefox allows setting the cache size to 0. There you go. Carrie, where did I get that shirt? I don't know. Probably globalrebels.com. I mean, if you had one thing to say about me, wouldn't it be I'm a global rebel? Sure, why not? There's another place called Daddy-O's. I mean, they have shirts like this as well. Do you have any experience with Active Directory? Nope. Nope. I've found that the businesses that have Active Directory have more than 50 employees, and therefore have an IT department made up of numerous people, not one guy. So I do managed service providing. I offer that to my business clients, and those business clients at most have 20 employees. And as such, a server is not required. In many cases, I've removed servers and replaced them with network-attached storage devices to minimize the maintenance, to minimize the effect of potential for virus. Many of my clients have the Synology NAS, and it really does a good job of maintaining itself, and I monitor it remotely, and we change the drives every 2 years. Every 2 years, all the drives get because they're cheap. They're cheap. So we just don't have any downtime, not because of a NAS. It just doesn't happen. And we've got solid state drives in all the workstations. The dentist office has 14 computers. They've never needed a repair. I built those when? When did I build those? 2013? Never, not a single repair, not a power supply, nothing, nothing. They just work. That's what I'm all about, efficiency. And listen, they could have bought the computers cheaper. They didn't. They bought them from me, and they didn't make any profit. Actually, I'll take it back. They bought the parts directly from Newegg. I gave them the parts list, and they bought the parts, and I assembled them and delivered them. And yeah, not a single problem ever. Never. Never. I'm very proud of that, if you couldn't tell. Yeah, if the customer started having problems with the hardware, I'd start questioning ever using that manufacturer again, because it makes me look bad. Would you recommend the use of a VPN? No. No. If you're going to use a public Wi-Fi spot where anybody can get on, yes. If you're doing something illegal, yes. Or don't use a public Wi-Fi spot, bring your own with your cell phone. Or don't do things that are illegal. I can't imagine why anybody really needs a VPN outside of those two circumstances. Or you're just paranoid that you think you're important and people care what you do, which is weird because unless you're a public figure or a celebrity, you have the best security in the world in that it's security through obscurity. Not only does nobody know who you are, they don't care. So that is your security. When you become famous, different story. You know, if you start running for politics, some political office, different story. I'm not aware any of us do that. But if you do, and I don't know, you should probably take the advice. You probably have some type of security if you're a celebrity or a government official, and you should follow what they tell you to do. That's what I would recommend. Don't listen to me. If the Secret Service tells you you can't do that, then you do what the Secret Service tells you to do. It's for your own best interest. Catherine says, trying to watch TV programs that are otherwise not watchable. Yeah, we're back to illegal activity. Maybe you shouldn't do that illegal activity. Maybe. Maybe. Is it that important? Is a TV show that important? Oh my God, I've got to watch the new Doctor Who. Really? 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 Can't wait for that day in court. Why did you do it? Well, I had to watch it. You did? Why? I'm a fan. So you steal? That's what fans do? They steal? Well, I couldn't buy it. Well, not yet. Well, didn't want to wait. Oh, well, I guess that's okay then. Case dismissed. When? Journalists use VPN. I have no doubt that a journalist or a lawyer, anybody involving data which competitors would want to get at to their advantage, that makes sense, right? I mean, if you've got a court case coming and you're preparing and you want to hide, you want to keep the evidence away from the opponents, that's very logical. Or if the opponents are trying to find dirt on you to present in court, very logical. If you're a journalist, you're working on a story, you don't want that story exposed or stolen and broken by a competing newspaper. I mean, that's just protecting your assets in a business environment. But once again, you're generally guided by your employer to do that. It's not something you decide as the journalist. It's something the editor, the chief editor-in-chief, decides and says, this is how we do things here. Generally, when you're a lawyer, you're working for a law firm. Not always, but in many cases you work for a firm, and the firm has policies and procedures set in place along with an IT department to provide you the services that you need in order to securely transmit sensitive data back and forth to the parties that are afflicted or affected, and to keep it out of the hands until it's prepared properly. So again, that would be provided to you. In most cases, when a VPN is required, it'll be provided to you by the party that's responsible. If you're just a home user, you're probably downloading movies or TV shows or software, and that's often, in my experience, why consumers want VPNs. I run into a couple of consumers that have a real schizophrenia about the government watching them, but then they have this empty trust in the VPN, which is weird. You don't know the VPN. I've seen VPNs give up their customers before. If you don't have anything to worry about, then there's no reason to need the VPN. But again, if you're out in a public hotspot, let's say, and you want to use the free Wi-Fi, but you got to pay for a VPN, for the price of the VPN, you could probably just use your service on your cell phone and tether it wirelessly to your laptop, or just use the cell phone securely. What I find very humorous is when people talk about this. They'll be at Starbucks and talking about their privacy when everybody can see what they're typing on their screen. It's very bizarre. When people talk about, I'm afraid to shop online, you don't hear much of that, but they used to. But they would give their credit card to a complete stranger, and the stranger would walk away from it after paying for a meal. Your server would take your card, walk away, charge it, and come back. You don't know who that person is. You don't know if they just made a Xerox copy or wrote your, you don't know. So the imagination, it's yeah, it can really mess with you. Ideally, if you're not a celebrity and you're not a public figure, people really don't care what you're doing. They really don't. And as long as you're using a credit card and not a debit card, you won't be held responsible for any charges. So let them take the number. Who cares if they steal the money from the bank? That's not your problem. Let the bank deal with it. Live your life. That's my advice. VPNs are often used to get access to the company's network. Yes, this is true too, which goes back to what I said, that a company that requires it will provide it. And if you don't work for a company that requires it, you probably don't need it unless you are paranoid, or you're doing something you know you're not supposed to be doing, or you're using a public Wi-Fi spot because you're too cheap to buy your own internet. I don't know, maybe there's other reasons, but I'm just coming up with that one because it's what I see a lot. But at the same time, everybody can look over your shoulder and see what you're typing. I don't get it. I don't get it. And for the cost of the VPN versus the cost of just bringing your own, it's so much more secure, reliable, and consistent with regards to the performance than what you'll get off any public hotspot. I don't use public hotspots for anything important. Nothing's that important. VPNs are a great way to access your home LAN. Well, why would you access your home LAN? I don't even get that at all. You could certainly set up a NAS device as an FTP server. Many routers have. You could plug a USB device in and create your own cloud, but why would you when you've got OneDrive is free for a certain amount of storage, Google Drive is free for a certain amount of storage? So when I used to go out and service computers, I had a container with floppy disks and it had utilities on it. And then that switched to a little wallet of CDs, and then that switched to flash drives. And now I don't bring anything but a screwdriver because if I need CCleaner, I download it and I get the latest version, not whatever the latest version I have on the flash drive. And then updating it constantly is a pain in the butt. So everybody's got broadband and everything's online. This idea of hoarding your own stuff is going away. It's unnecessary. Buying DVDs and Blu-rays, who does that anymore? Why would you? Just stream what you need. With 75 new movies minimum coming out every year, when do you have time to go back and watch something old when you haven't even watched half of what's new? And if you don't catch it in the first 3 months, don't worry. In 3 or 4 months, it'll be available to stream. Did you miss the Solo movie? It's already out on streaming on Netflix. Did you miss Deadpool 2? It's already out. It's already out. And don't worry, there'll be another one out after that, and 74 others at least. Good luck keeping up with it all. This idea of hoarding and keeping things to go back and watch later, who does that? Who has time? I got the box set of I Love Lucy on DVD. Good for you. When's the last time you watched it? It's hoarding. Hoarding. The internet has already got everything there. All you have to do is go and grab it. It's the world's largest library. It's there for you. For a modest $10 a month, what is it, 10 bucks for Netflix? It's all right there. Do I need to buy everything in the grocery store? No. The grocery store is my personal pantry. They maintain it. They throw away expired foods. They keep it well stocked. And when I need something, I go there as if it's my personal pantry, and I pay them a small fee for keeping it all and refreshing it, and making sure it's all fresh and well stocked. So when I need it, it's there. Now, you may look at it as you're paying for goods. I don't see it that way. I see it as I am paying them to store this and maintain it. And then what I'm doing is, I'm not paying them to do, I'm only paying when I take something out. So things like meat that go bad really quickly, why should I buy it and store it in my freezer for 3 months? If I'm hungry and I feel like hamburger, I'll go to the store and buy some hamburger. That's what it's there for. It's my personal pantry. And anybody's welcome to go in there and pay the same fees I do. And the people that work in my pantry will replenish it for me. I don't have to do anything. That's how I choose to see it. When I go grocery shopping, I feel like a king, because there's nothing in the store I can't afford. I can't go into a car dealer and go, I want that one, and that one. I can't go to a furniture store and say, give me that sofa and give me that couch. I can't afford it. But there's nothing in a grocery store I can't afford. If I go, I want this, I grab it and I put it in my cart. It's a great feeling of power. I love it. I absolutely love it. Russ Martin has contributed $5. Hey, Russ, thank you so much for your contribution. VPN is great for torrents. You know what's good for torrents? Torrents, like of legal things like Linux and stuff like that. And I think Snappy Driver Installer is a big torrent. That's all legal. You don't need a VPN for that. What you need a VPN for is when you're downloading things illegally and you're worried about getting caught. For what you pay for the VPN for a year, you probably could have legally bought the things you downloaded. Just saying. Just saying. And you probably wouldn't have had to wait as long either. But hey, it's just my opinion. What do I know? I've got over 8,000 movies and TV shows in my HTPC for when I go off the grid. Okay. Okay. You enjoy that. Don't worry about finding food and shelter. Just nourish your brain with that junk food and you'll stay alive forever. Glad to see you got your priorities in the right place. That's totally worth going to jail for or being fined. Totally worth it. Once again, when companies are dealing with sensitive data, VPNs are a very serious tool. For home users and consumers, they probably are paranoid, schizophrenic, or doing something they're not supposed to be doing. I'm not going to condone that. It took me a year to convert my DVDs. Yeah, and they're still crappy quality. So what? It was a complete waste of time. Rich Robbins says, VPN for popcorn time. Look, guys, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse here, but maybe you shouldn't come onto the channel with your real name and promote the fact that you're doing something illegal and hiding it behind a VPN and announcing that to the world on a video that'll be available for years. Maybe you should just maybe just keep that to yourself. Rule number one, just a suggestion. Carrie, is it true that when you're running a VPN, you're giving up a percentage of your speed? I guess it depends how you're using it and how busy the VPN is and what your bandwidth is and what their bandwidth is. And what it's really hard to say. Obviously, an encryption and decryption has to be done on both sides. That's going to inherently increase the amount of traffic, which, and a benchmark will always result in a slowdown. However, whether or not that's noticeable really depends on the quality of the VPN and the quality of your internet service provider. But I would say, if you're looking for performance, it's definitely not going to improve your speed. That much I can tell you for certain. Everybody does it, to be honest. No. That's something people tell themselves that's simply not true. There is a percentage of the population under a certain age that predominantly behave in this fashion and justify their thefts. Most grown adults do not do that. Most people over 40 do not do that. Many people in other countries do not do that. I think your justification that it's right because other people are doing it is sick and twisted. You know what's right, no matter if you're the only one doing it or everybody's doing it. What's right is right, and what's wrong is wrong. And how many people do the right thing and how many people do the wrong thing doesn't change it. Nothing makes something wrong right out of sheer numbers. It just, no. Morals are morals and ethics are ethics. And that's the way it is. And if you want to tell the judge in a courtroom that the reason you do it and the reason you think it's okay is because everybody else is doing it, let me know your cell number so I can mail you a letter and try and keep you company, because you're going to be very lonely, stuck in a little cell, and your reputation's going to be damaged and you're not going to have a job. And is it worth it? Is it worth it? Not to mention, if you really like something, you should support it. If people just take, then how is it sustainable? If everybody's doing it, then nobody's buying. And if nobody's buying, then who's paying for the cost of the production? How's that possible? It's interesting how people's attitudes change. If you were to, for example, be part of a movie cast or a crew, you would flip your attitude so fast, so fast. You know that big list of credits you never watch? Have you counted how many names are in the credits of any Hollywood production? Did those people do that for free? You don't care, because it doesn't affect you. But the minute somebody steals from you and says, well, everybody else steals, I don't think you're going to be okay with it. I really don't. But hey, whatever. A name I can't pronounce says, Carrie, it's because of you I started building PCs myself. I watched a detailed video and it helped me tremendously. That was about 3 or 4 years ago. The amount of details, pure pro. Keep going. Hey, man, thank you. Lots of well-known tech tubers. Hobbyists and tech enthusiasts recommend stuff. Yeah, you should totally listen to them. Yeah, somebody who has no accountability, no reliability, totally take their advice. Totally. Yeah, you should totally do that. Advice you didn't pay for, advice that doesn't come from a place of responsibility. Oh, yeah, don't listen to them. Yeah, go ahead. See what happens. I don't care. Do it. Go for it. It's your choice. It's your life. Make your own decisions. Somebody else tells you you should do it, then you should totally do it because somebody else said so. In Eastern Europe, everybody does it. It's interesting how fast you guys sell out your morals and ethics. It's fascinating to me. It's fascinating that you're so spineless and cowardly that you will steal from other people and justify it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The person I admire is the person who says everybody else is doing it. That's why I'm not doing it. You want to be somebody I respect? Be that guy. You want to be a sheep? I got no respect for you. The bottom line here is if you're doing something illegal, keep it to yourself, unless you're asking to get into trouble. A lot of people do heroin too. Well, a big problem with fentanyl in this country. A lot of people are doing it. And a lot of people are dying. But hey, it won't happen to you. I strongly advise you to not do what everybody else is doing. But your decisions, your consequences, you're only a victim of your own decisions. No matter what I say, no matter how you justify it, you're accountable for what you do, and you will pay the price. Sooner or later, one way or another. Karma has a way. It's not always instant karma. It has a way. It has a way. So I'm not worried about it. You're not taking money from me. But I mean, if you guys came in here and said, I steal from the grocery store, I go to the mom and pop shop and steal diamonds, I just don't think that's right. And I certainly think it's wrong to brag about it. Well, everybody in my neighborhood steals. Move. Miguel Ramirez has contributed $4.99. Carrie, I agree with you. Support the medium. Vote with your wallet. If you like it, buy it. If not, don't. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Miguel. Yes, I agree. Christoph Esch has contributed again, €5. Develop software and create videos yourself, and you will stop that. That's true. This is true. Anybody who's created anything and had that creation stolen, I had an interesting discussion with my brother. I said, would you ever write a sequel to your book? He wrote a book on the history of the NHL, the National Hockey League. He goes, I'll never do it again. I said, why? He goes, because people are quoting my book in Wikipedia articles. And they're not giving me credit for it, and they're not buying the book. I said, so you want to have written a book that nobody read? Well, no. Because if you write a book that nobody reads, then what's the difference if you write it or you don't write it? Why didn't you just save some time and not write it if the end result is nobody's reading it? Well, I just don't like that they quote my book, but they don't credit me for it. I go, well, yeah, you should get credit for it, but shouldn't you be flattered that they consider your book a resource, a valuable, knowledgeable resource? Well, of course. Okay. Didn't you write the book? Did you write the book to get rich, or did you write the book to convey a history, a documented history? Well, of course, I wrote it to make a documented history. But you did write it to be read, right? Or did you write it to make $1 million? Well, he says, I wrote it to be read, but I wanted to make money from it. Okay. So if you're not going to make money from it, then you don't want anybody to read it. Then you shouldn't have written it. Because they unwritten, no, that's not what. Okay, well, I'm just trying to explain. I'm trying to understand. So if you wrote the book, and let's just say people took it out of the library and read it and returned it to the library. You have a problem with libraries? No. Okay. I mean, you've taken books out of libraries? Yes. I'm trying to wrap my brain around what his logic is. I go, look, there was a time when we had a guest on the radio show I used to do, and he was upset because somebody took his domain name, and if you mistyped his domain name, it took you to a pornographic website. And he was upset. I was like, man, I wish I was so popular that if you misspelled carrieholzman.com, it took you to a pornographic website. That would be like then I know I made a certain level of success. I'm not there. Nobody's done it. If you like mix the R and the E, or you misspell my name, it takes you nowhere. You get a 404 not found. I wish I was so popular that somebody would go through the effort of registering a domain name, of mistyping my name. That is a blessing. I was in line at the Consumer Electronics Show many years ago, and we were waiting in line for lunch. And it's a long line. It's a very busy place. You just make conversation with the person in line. Nobody knows anybody, and you're just looking around. How you doing? Okay, so it's not so good. What? You're at the Consumer Electronics Show. It's cool. What could be so bad? We just caught a guy trying to steal my product out of my booth. Oh. Well, isn't that a good thing? How can that be a good thing? Well, didn't you come here to create a demand for your product? Isn't the reason why you went to Las Vegas and paid for this booth and put your product on display was to create a desire for people to want it? Yes. And that person wanted it so badly, they're willing to go to jail to get it? You don't see that as very complimentary? Well, I really didn't think of it that way. You've set out and accomplished what you set out to do, right? I mean, that's what you set out to do. Would you rather have a booth that just everybody ignored, nobody cared, and he just walked by? Well, of course not. Yeah, then why would you be here? And the guy kind of lightened up and made his day better. It's interesting how sometimes if you just change the way you look at something, the thing you're looking at changes. Isn't that fascinating? I think it's fascinating. I didn't change anything. I didn't have any impact on whether or not the device was returned or the guy was caught. None of that. All I did was convey some noises out of my vocal cords and completely change the mood of the other person. Where they saw something that they saw was bad was actually quite good. You know, there's a way you can take a celebrity's head and put it on top of a pornographic actor's face and then upload that. Nobody's done that to me. You guys can sit there and tell me I'm popular. You think I'm popular, but there's a little tiny bit of people. You're just a little tiny bit of people. It's great, and I love all of you. You're great people. But I'm not popular. If somebody took my head and put it on a porn star and uploaded it to a pornographic head, nobody would know who the hell I am. It's not going to make the news. It's not going to, be some earth-shattering thing in PC World magazine. It would be humorous, and it would be flattering that somebody picked some low-level YouTube guy and did that nobody's going to recognize. Nobody's going to get it, maybe a fraction of a percent. That's why I say the best security is obscurity. The fact that you just blend in and you don't stand out. That's the best security you could possibly have, in my opinion. When you're never a target, then you have nothing, you have no reason to carry around a shield and looking over your shoulder. Life's easier. Somebody says 203,000 viewers. That's not true. So look, I have 203,000 subscribers. Therefore, every video I release should instantly get 203,000 views? Nope. Look at Newegg. Newegg has almost 500,000 subscribers, and yet their view numbers are lower than mine. So that's not telling. Having subscribers versus having active subscribers is two entirely different things. That's why subscriberships don't really mean a lot. I don't get paid based on subscribers. I get paid based on minutes watched. It doesn't matter if one person watches 1,000,000 minutes or 1,000,000 people watch 1 minute. I'm paid the same. Subscribing doesn't do anything to the creator other than make them feel good. It doesn't increase your views. You would think with 203,000 subscribers, every video, if 1 out of every 4 subscribers watched, I'd get 50,000 views on day 1. When's the last time I got 50,000 views in 3 weeks? Not likely. I do have my very first video to hit 1,000,000 views coming up soon, and I'm really excited about that. And that's a video released in 2016. I have videos in 2012 that aren't as close to 1,000,000. One video I did for Newegg is over 1,000,000. Figure, the one video that I did over 1,000,000 on in the first year was for Newegg. But be that as it may, subscribers are not any sense of popularity. That really isn't. Some subscribers click the subscribe button and they don't do anything. They're not active. So it looks good on paper, but the reality is it doesn't pay the bills. What pays the bills are you folks watching now. All those other people, there's 371 people watching out of 203,000. You want to do the math on that for me? And tell me again how popular I am. And do it with a straight face. Try it. I think subscribing and liking does make the video more discoverable. It's hard to say on search engine optimization what exactly they're looking for. Oftentimes it's keywords, tags, controversy. They like controversy. They like to see almost as many thumbs up and thumbs down. You're going to raise up on the search engines for that. They want likelihood of a click. Obviously, if you're really, really big and popular, you're going to get more clicks. If you're sort of down at the lower level like I am, there's a lot of people with 203,000 subscribers. But be that as it may, again, it's not I'm not complaining about it. I'm just stating the reality of it. And the reality is I have no more average views now than I had a year ago. As for search engine results, if my views aren't any different from now than they were a year ago, then apparently the search engine results haven't changed significantly enough to impact that. So I have to take this information and process it so that it makes sense to me. And YouTube and Google, they keep all this stuff secretive so it can't be manipulated, because it will be. If they can, they will. And I understand why it's that way. But it does make it a very difficult nut to crack. When does YouTube send out another award? I think you get an award at 1 million subscribers. I think that's the gold. And then you get an award at 10 million subscribers, which is the diamond. But those awards are pointless. They have no value. They don't do anything. They don't make better videos. They don't improve the quality of your video. They don't improve your audio. They don't improve your video. They don't replace your lenses or your memory card or your batteries or your microphone or your tripod head. They don't automatically fill in your thumbnails and your video descriptions and your links. They don't promote your video. They don't advertise your video. They do nothing. 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 It does nothing. I can go and pay and have one made, and it will do the exact same thing. If I went to some website where they sold replicas, it would, at the end of the day, it would do exactly the same thing as the authentic one. They both do nothing. What a strange thing to work for, to achieve something that does nothing. Where do you put it? I have this box filled with nothing. Let me stick it in there. Maybe I can pay my electric bill with that. Hey, I got this nice diamond award from YouTube, 10 million subscribers. No. Could I trade this for some groceries? No. That has no value. It has zero value to anybody, anywhere. If I had a diamond play button, I'd sell it, because at least I could use the money to buy some better camera equipment. Oh, God. What a world. And who's the idiot who thought that up? Who's the guy at YouTube? It had to be a guy, because no woman would be this stupid to go, let's dangle a fake carrot, and when they award it, they can't eat it. It has no value, no nutritional value. It's not a real carrot, but they can show it off to all their friends. That's something to achieve. Idiots. What's the difference between a fake and a real Rolex? Probably quality and value. So if you buy a fake Rolex, it probably won't last as long. Rolexes are built like tanks. A 100-year-old Rolex will work as well and keep more accurate time than a brand new Timex or Casio to this day. And as a result, it has a lot of value, so you can resell it. Somebody would be more than happy to give you a lot of money for a used Rolex. Not so much on the fake one. Oh, I think it's time to feed the dogs. I guess I'm going to let you guys go. I guess we can just feed the dogs, and we'll end the show. You guys hungry? Oh, here they come. Here he comes. Are you hungry? There he is. There he is. All right, let's get Jimmy fed first. You ready, Jimmy? You ready? Are you ready? Is it time for your dinner? Here he goes. Here's a good boy. Good boy. There you go. And Lyle, you're not going to be able to see. He's back behind. Nuka-Cola, he's back there. All right, Lyle, let's get you. You tapping your toes? Come on, get on with this. I'm starving over here. All right, buddy. Sit. Good boy. There you go. Eat up. Bon appetit. All right. All right. And now I need to eat. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's been a great live stream. I've enjoyed it. And I hope I conveyed enough information about the importance of data backups. I hope I've emphasized that enough. Sure would love to talk about something else instead of rehashing all the same stuff I've been talking about for 27 years. So besides that, thank you for all the contributions. Thank you for all the support. For all my moderators for keeping it civil in the chat room, thank you so much for that. And I will see you all again, definitely Thursday. I'm not sure about tomorrow, iffy on tomorrow, but definitely on Thursday. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. I'll see you all very, very soon. Until then, bye for now.